Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. We've got our accountant, our financial advisor on the line.
I love this man.
He's solid as a rock.
Yes, he is.
Every time we meet with Bernie,
He's the fiscal backbone of this corporation.
you know, Bernie is such the ultimate straight man that the last time me and you had a meeting about our company.
That was with our wives were there, too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like
I didn't do anything. I just played Bubble Bobble on my phone.
Well, the show makes us go ultimate crazy because Bernie's so straight that we want to go the opposite and far the opposite because he's so straight that we go insane.
Yeah.
And then it becomes
It's a bad
calamity.
mix. Yeah, it's a bad
and our
mix.
wives are embarrassed. Bernie, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Guys, I don't want you to give the impression that I'm not any fun.
No.
Oh, you're very fun, but you
take Bernie out on your boat.
Well,
Bernie's too big for Tom's boat. First of all, he can't fit on there. It'd be like a shoe.
What kind of beer you like, Bernie? Are you? I feel like you're a Michelob Light.
No, I feel like he's Michelob original. Like you mean Mick
Stella.
Light, original Mick, the curvy bottle.
Yeah.
What happened to that beer? Do they still sell Mick Light with a curvy bottle that's shaped like a woman?
No, I don't think they can anymore.
They can't, right? It got canceled. I feel like. Look that up, Sam. What kind of beer do you like there?
So I guess in that vein, I mean, if you were drinking Guinness or something, you should have a guy with a big pot belly as your bottle.
Right.
Yeah. And then Red Stripe, you know.
Yeah, you know the Red Stripe.
Long Stripe. Yeah. Anyway, I like going all different beer countries by stereotype. What's the Japanese beer?
What you got? Ichiban?
Yeah, Ichiban.
Yeah, Sapporo.
Thin bottle. You're drinking out of a thin harmonica. I'm sorry. Bernie, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. First, have you seen, because you've been doing this a long time and you've been a financial advisor for a long time, have you seen people's retirement age come down? Like they're planning to retire earlier and earlier? Because it seems to me that hey, I'm going to retire at 65. That is kind of an older generation thing, or am I wrong about that? Because it seems like all the people I talk to in their 30s and 40s are looking at like 55 or 60. You know what I'm saying? It's ticked down. Have you noticed that trend?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That may just be something that's come to your consciousness, but people have always wanted to retire early, but the reality of it is that hardly anybody can ever do that. But they could if they put away enough money right now.
Yeah.
So
I wondered if it's like because back in the day, like and Bernie like handles retirement plans and like 401ks and consolidating them and kids' college plans.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing he did
all
for
did
us,
that
consolidating the 401ks. I mean, Andrea had 5 different 401s that needed to be squished into one, something that could do something for her.
So, but now with like everybody carries around a smartphone and all these different companies have apps and have instant access to you looking at your retirement funds or how it's growing and stuff. And like, I feel like if you're reminded constantly or you look at it more often, you're reminded more of how like much you should put in as opposed to you getting a statement in the mail once a month or whatever and looking, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of motivates people to actually save more if they're looking at it more. That seems like a psychological thing to me. Do you think like technology has any bearing on how much people are saving nowadays?
I don't know. I guess that could be. I hadn't ever considered that. But
just tell him it's
maybe
a stupid question.
Most people are looking at.
Bernie, you should just tell him
what kind of results they're getting.
Bernie, just tell him. Just say, look, instead of going, I don't know, and then trying to be nice to him, just say, that's the most ridiculous and stupid thing I've ever heard. And then hang up in his face. That's what I would do. I would hang up in your face.
I'm just asking Bernie quick, but yeah, Bernie is too nice.
Yeah, I can't do that mode exactly.
So okay, on to scaling.
Okay, real good. Yeah, but what you're really saying is, whether people want to retire early or not, they should pay attention to it and do planning ongoing instead of say, well, I'm not going to retire till I'm 65, so I don't need to think about it now. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. So yeah, they should think about it, and they should review it often and have a plan in place that's gonna work. If you got money in plans, but you don't know what it's going to amount to or what it's projected to, then you don't really have a plan to retire at any point in time. So, that's something we can do with people. Look at their plans and see what they have going, and see if it's going to make it. So,
Bernie,
that may be a better answer to your question than are they wanting to retire early or are they looking at their plans and putting more in? I don't know that that's what motivates people to put more in.
Bernie, I got another question for you. I feel like people should, before they start planning for retirement, they should disrobe and look at themselves nude in the mirror, and then have a good, honest conversation with themselves about how long they're actually going to live. Right?
Oh,
okay. You mean like a reality check?
Yeah.
Maybe
Because
they should talk to their doctor.
It's the Tom Van.
The mirror doesn't
it's
really.
the Tom Van
Well, the mirror will
nude. So you want me to disrobe in front of my family?
Well, the mirror
and
will
stand
tell
there
you
in
a
front
couple
of,
things.
I'm going to stand there in front of Maisie and Andrea.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand them grease pencils.
and then
a la Howard Stern, and have them walk my body and draw what is wrong with it.
Well, okay, you're right, Samantha. You're right, because genetics has a lot to do with
Finally
it.
happened.
So look, while you're looking in the mirror, think about your parents and grandparents and how they died.
Well, you'd
and
have
then
to
know that you have a chance of dying.
right
of that.
with lipstick on the mirror that you're looking in.
all the
their
cancers.
ages that they died at.
Yeah.
Your mother on one side, your father on the other side,
Yeah,
and
and
then
they're-
stand nude in the center, and then look at each age, and then use
And then
critical thinking.
Yeah, and then be like 62. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then be like, all right, well, we'll plan on really partying
Yeah.
at 55.
Yeah, or you
like,
just go, I got to put some
Okay,
money
well,
away. I got to
I can tell you
start
one thing
now.
for sure. I can tell you guys one thing for sure. I'm not going to use that in my.
Well, this is Tom Van's financial
Yeah.
planning. Like,
It is a little. You know what? The hardest part of this job is when the client stares you in the eye and says, "Your idea is S." That's the hardest part of this job.
Well, in Tom Van's financial planning, you can get nude in front of me, and I'll tell you, but you may not want to hear that.
So your
'Cause
new
I'll tell you the
financial
truth.
planning idea is to have listeners disrobe in front of you, and you're
I'm
going to
not
tell
signing
them,
up for this
and you're going to
plan.
tell them how long they live.
Well, you gotta tell me, when
look,
your parents died and
I'll give you the
grandparents
first
died.
couple minutes for free, Sam, just based on
Okay.
looking at you right now, fully clothed. I think
yeah.
you got a shot at it. I think I'd have to see more. I'd have to see more, like Tom says. But I think you got a shot at it. I think you're gonna do. You're gonna do well.
Do the distance.
But
Yeah, you're going the distance.
All I'm saying is that a lot of people, I think they're going to live longer than reality, and they should account for that. And you should look and have, think to yourself, well, I'm planning for 95, but what are the odds?
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying? It's going to be 20 years earlier, that most likely. And then if you're dying at 75, then you're probably not doing well from 73 on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
the last couple years?
So
Yeah.
spend your money at 66, or you know what I'm saying? So plan to spend your money early.
Yeah.
Who wants to die with hundreds of thousands
And I
of
don't
dollars?
want that rapid death, though. I don't want that rapid death where you buy something cool and people are like, look at him, he's doing it. And then like 2 weeks later is like secret cancer dead. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
So, sorry, Bernie. One last question, then we're going to talk about actual business, because I know that Bernie is...
He wants to talk about...
He wants to talk about legitimate things.
Yeah. And a lot of our listeners go and see Bernie, and they're surprised. They're like, wow, you're nothing like Tom and Dan. You're actually like a successful, smart person. And that's why it works.
Yeah. So, Bernie...
Well, one thing for sure. Let me give you a clue on that. So you guys know my persona when I come on the cast with you is the same as when they come to see me in person.
No
so,
different. It's
so
impossible. Dare I say that if you put the
there's
puppet on your
not
hand...
a big surprise there when we meet.
No, you're much like Tom in the fact that you do not like to put a puppet on your hand and then make funny voices and act like a fool. You're Mr. Math. Mr. Money, Mr. Investment, Mr. Trust.
So, Bernie, before we get into serious topics, I started looking because we put together.
Oh, my God, the Celsius pear drink that I'm having? My God, it's dancing on my tongue like, what do you call that? Like the Michael Flatley.
So, Bernie helped me put together some 529 college plans for my sons and for my nieces, and I think he did one for Maisie. I'm glad you laughed. No, because seriously.
I'm just kidding.
This goes back to standing in the
Maisie
mirror
ain't going
naked.
to college. Are you crazy?
So we put together, because that's a responsible thing to do. It's for tax purposes, good.
Colleges won't even be around then.
Well, so I started reading the front page of the 529, and it says about all the how you could use the money, because the whole benefit is. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bernie, is if you're saving for college, you could spend that money without being taxed on the amount of income that money's earned or interest or whatever. The growth of that money, as long as it's used for your kid's education.
Correct.
So, but I started reading and talk about Louis Loophole here. I started reading what you could use the money on, and one of the things were room and board.
Got so excited. One of it is I can buy a jet ski.
So I started looking at it. I was like, room and board, and I was like, what if my sons? Because let's be honest, chances are one of them isn't going to go to college.
I mean, that's not a diss. I don't think you have to go to college.
No. They're going to look at their old man. They're like, look how weak he is mentally. He wants a friend. We'll just live in his house forever, and I'll be like, I'm
that's
enabling.
Room and board, so you can get all that money back.
So
Daddy's rent.
I was thinking, well, I'll just take it out. I'll just can I charge my own son an astronomical, $2,000 a month?
You're gonna do what the insurance company does.
The room and board, and basically just take my own money back tax free.
And it just so happens that it's $2,000 a month.
I mean, that's my cost. Yeah. My son wants to live here.
It's a nice ass house.
Who's the government to tell where my son can live?
I fully support this.
So, is that tax fraud?
Sorry. Is that a good planning technique?
Bernie, it sounds like you went in the bathroom. I hear a little more echo. He's about to pull the red stripe out. I hear the echo.
Bernie, don't listen.
Well, I tell you what, you are to be applauded for reading through that and finding out all the details there. I guess the real indication is that you have a criminal mind, and that's being exposed right now.
Bernie, I just backwards swallowed my energy drink. That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Criminal mind.
The fact that he said you have a criminal mind and the way he said it. Bernie, you're my favorite. This is why you're our accountant.
It's Louis Loophole. Is that criminal? You wrote it there on your website.
Is it technically legal?
Thank God we have Bernie, Sam. Can you imagine where this company would be if we didn't have Bernie?
I'm still a little nervous.
Bernie writes the ship.
That's why we have Bernie, because without Bernie, we'd all be in
Louis
prison.
Loophole crazy.
Because I'm just a dum-dum. I just follow whatever he says.
I'd be in prison for the longest, Daniel next longest, and somehow
I'd claim ignorance.
Yeah, but I used your social security number, and I have you on video.
I don't even think you have my social security number.
I've been stealing money from you and your husband for years.
Don't have any.
Yeah, that's why.
So, I'm sorry, Bernie. So, anyway, let's talk about some actual real things and the fact that, things have changed. I don't know if you heard.
Let's talk about trusts and stuff like that, because you and I both need to do that.
Yeah.
How difficult is it, Bernie, if we go and see you? How long does it take to start the process of creating a trust for my daughter?
Okay. So, what you're talking about is doing estate planning.
There you go.
So what that does is you need someone to put the plan together for you, but the truth of the matter is if a trust may or may not be the right answer to start with. So, we can analyze what your situation is and see if that's what's necessary. But then we need to have an attorney create the documents and, tell them what we want, and then they create the documents. So, and you can have different members that would be the captain of the estate planning team. You know, if you're my client and I'm doing your financial plan and so forth, then I can work with you to get your estate plan put together. If you go to an attorney to start with, then they'll put your estate plan together. And so you're asking how long it will take.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. You know, it depends on it depends on the firm and so forth. And you know, I can refer to
Sure.
Firms that do that and that we work together with. So, and it might be a good thing to have a trust for your daughter, but you should ask some questions first, or try to determine what the reason for that is, or why you want to do it, and then is that really the right way to accomplish what you want done? So, I can't give you a quick answer.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and I think you did give me a quick answer. I think where this stuff becomes intimidating for most folks, you and I included, Tom, is that we just hear things from people, and then we assume that that's what us and our family need, right? We don't need that. Sorry, that's
What was it? Are you vacuuming, Bernie?
my God. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't know.
Yeah, but
He's shredding your
Are you
paperwork.
talking about the noise? Somebody outside my
Are you
window.
shredding our files? You're shredding our files, are you, Bernie?
I knew it.
I knew you're shredding our files, and I can hear it. I can hear Dan Dennis coming out of the file cabinet.
I mean, shredding my 520. Bernie's like, I don't want to go to prison.
Just as a point of interest, right by my office where I usually park, they put 2 parking places there that I can't use anymore, and so I have to move down some. But they're putting in electric car spaces, and right now
God!
they're putting in,
Electric cars.
Get 'em, Bernie.
Oh, God.
and
petroleum for
that
life.
sound is then putting up I guess it's the electric. I don't know what you call it.
I'll get you,
electric car.
It's just gonna be for
So-
the neighbors that have Teslas to go charge the
just
car
for some
for free.
rich nerd to sit there for a couple minutes and check his Instagram while he gets a supercharge.
Sorry, Bernie.
So that's all right. It woke me up to that my parking place is going to be gone.
Oh,
Damn them.
So Bernie, talk about some stuff that changed because of COVID and things that people should do.
Well, I guess we kind of talked about a little bit of what I wanted to talk about was people's retirements and so forth. But with COVID and the way things have been over the last few years, people go to work somewhere, work for 2, 3, 4 years, then they go somewhere else. And if they had a retirement plan where they worked, they may have some 401k money or something like that's still there, and that they could possibly take control of and have it put into a plan that will really do something for them different than just accumulate. Anyway, it would make sense if you've moved once or twice to look and see what your 401ks are doing, and if you put a plan together to make sure that value is going to help you in the future. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I want to talk about.
A lot of people have the 401ks from other businesses just floating around.
Well,
and
we had a difficult task, or seemingly difficult for me and Andrea when we met Bernie. Andrea had 4 or 5 different 401s that she'd accumulated through natural, job collection throughout the years.
Yeah.
Where she finally landed and loving her job, she had all this other stuff. I mean, they were just kind of floating out there, not doing anything for her. And then Bernie was able to consolidate that. It took a little while, but he did such a good job on it. Now she has something that's working for her at all times.
Yeah. And Bernie,
so that's one of the things. And I guess the other thing I was going to mention, people that had put in extensions on their personal tax returns, that time is about to expire the 15th of October. So, if you haven't done your taxes yet and you're on extension, it needs to get done. If you need some help with that, you can call us and we can work with you. And even if you didn't do an extension, you haven't filed your taxes, it's time to do them anyway.
Yep, it is.
So,
we are heading that direction, are we not?
Well, Bernie, thanks so much for talking to us and handling all of our business taxes and personal taxes. And
I'm sorry to hear about your parking
retirements.
space. You know, if we have to come out there and paint you a private space ourselves, we will do it. You're the best, man.
hey, that's good. You put your logo on there. That'd be great.
It's not a bad idea. You know, it's not a bad idea.
all right, Bernie. Again, it's orlandocpa.net. Give Bernie a call for
Go
all
visit
of it.
The Rock.
Yeah.
His name is Bernie, and he will set you straight. We love you, man. Be good.
Yeah, you guys too. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, no
All right,
problem.
man.
Take
Bernie,
it
say
easy.
hi to the ladies for us and
All right.
tell them we'll try to stay out of their hair with passwords and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
because I know we're bad. We're the worst. We're the worst.
Oh.
All right, man. Be good.
Yeah.
Love that guy. God, I can't hold it together when he's the unfazable
Yeah.
math rock.
yeah. Speaking of passwords, it always makes me laugh. Anytime I'm in a bad mood, I think about the time that
Don't tell this. It's embarrassing.
that one time at Clear Channel.
It
This
was with Catherine Brown.
10 years.
Wasn't it? Or no, it
this
was-
is on the phone with IT.
Oh, this was you, wasn't it?
This is Clear Channel IT support. No,
Oh, God. Or was
well,
this me?
Something happened with Daniel where he
I'll say that. But she'd have to cut it.
he got locked out of his account, right? So he had to call the Clear Channel tech support or whatever to get back into his email,
Yeah.
right? And then the nice lady on the phone, this was a speakerphone. Daniel put on a speakerphone, and then the lady's like, "All right, I'll set you up. I'll get a change, whatever."
I
You
just
got
had it
locked
sitting
out.
next to me while I'm still trying to work. You know, everybody does that.
And so his password, she's like, "All right, just give me your password." And then I see Daniel like, and then he starts
turning red.
He starts trying to spell it out,
Yeah.
thinking that
Throw her
maybe
off.
she won't because
BIGTIT.
yeah. So that's what his password is: a big and the T word for press. And
Don't say it.
I know, I hate saying that.
and surprisingly enough, the lady did what most people do, which is not flinch at
And
all.
just read it back to him.
Just because she's like, I'm sure.
I'm sure she's got a lot worse.
dead behind the eyes at
Yeah.
this point with being Clear Channel IT or tech support or whatever. So, but it made me laugh.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So I don't make my passwords anything vulgar anymore.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used
yeah.
to. I used to make them funny because you remember them, right? Like when
Right.
they're crazy or whatever. We got to take a break, guys.
Yep. All right. Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail email.
I love voicemails and emails. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail message, there's two ways to do it. 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's basically the hotline. Call that. You'll hear my voice. Leave us a message that way. I go through that weekly. Also, the easiest way, the best way to do it, get our app. All of our shows are on there. We get credit for downloads when you download that app, and it helps us out a lot. There's a little button on there called Mediocre Messages. If you hit that button and hold it down, you can leave a high-quality message for us like one of these. I'm trying to pull these up here. Let's go with, how about this one? I don't think that this guy meant this in any way disrespectful, so I'll preface that by saying that because he is in the same club as John Busdecker.
Okay.
And I do think this would be interesting to talk about.
Hey, Tom and Dan, if you guys really want to get rid of EJ's segment, which, whatever, what if we do a segment with Busdecker called My Crazy Horsewife? Because I have a crazy horsewife. It's all about me. Me. Make me famous.
So this guy's wife has a horse, and
Okay.
Busdecker's wife has a horse, and there is a perception
Okay. Yeah.
There's
in
a
the world.
stereotype,
There is a
yes.
stereotype, much like any
We've
stereotype.
talked about this, yeah.
Yeah, we have talked about this. That's why I would like to actually get one of these people in here for us to really dig in. We've never dug in, but there is a thing called Crazy Horse Ladies.
Yeah.
Where if you own a horse and you happen to be a woman, you are crazy.
Okay. Yeah. That's the
Thing.
That's the stereotype.
Now, my dad owned a horse, Rondo. Not crazy. Not crazy. He didn't have it. Mom didn't like the horse. It wasn't her thing. It was Dad's horse, Rondo, the show horse. Doesn't work that way, I don't think. But when ladies get horses, like my friend Rebecca, I'm going to say it. She might get mad. I might get a text message. Crazy horse lady. She is.
So
Horses change women. They do.
Now, when you own a horse, it sounds like a rich person thing, but is
Oh,
is-
my
Yeah,
God.
it's expensive to maintain
Butler's in the
horses.
chat room. Butler says Jen owned multiple horses Adds up. Adds up.
Yeah.
Butler, get in here, man. I didn't know you. Were a horseman.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
is this before you guys were together?
Yeah. She was very big equestrian.
All right.
She
Now,
looks like
So
a hot
you and your
horse
wife
lady.
have literally done everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
the whole,
Plays the harp. She owned horses. She's a rich girl.
She's a doctor. She's a rich girl.
I don't know if playing the harp really is a rich person thing. Like that's
Well, it's
more
not
of
a poor people
expensive,
thing.
man.
But
It's not a poor people
not a
thing.
poor-
It's only for rich people and little baby cherubs.
well, I think it's more of like an Amish or something.
No,
it's like
no,
Amish?
I think it's high class.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
That's high class.
it's high
bro.
class.
I don't know.
It's not the music of the streets, I'll tell you that. It's not like,
Sure,
it's not
that's
like,
true.
wow, I can really hear
It's not
this.
like outside the soccer match, someone's playing a harp.
I can
Yeah.
hear the struggle of inner city New York when I'm listening to this harp. Wow. It's really giving me a taste.
It's
Want
like
to sag my pants.
but it's like an old timey rich person thing. Like no, who is like a rich?
It's a dated instrument, yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
that's fancy pants parents pushing their kid to do
yeah.
some old antiquated
And I think
instrument.
even a practice harp is like 5 Gs.
I'm Team Tom here, in the harp thing because my wife actually she only did Renaissance festivals when she played.
the harp.
Where else would you?
Like the violin is I mean that's a smart person thing. I don't know what's a rich instrument.
Violin.
Yeah, but also I feel
The
like
stereotype, like in any cartoon that I watch, like Big City Greens, Maisie likes that cartoon. There's a rich kid on the show. His name's Remy. That kid, they use the stereotype of him playing
violin.
Yeah, that is the stereotype. Rich kids play violin.
Back to horses.
Yeah.
So when you
I want a horse, brother. I'd love to have a horse.
What does it cost
Like,
to own a horse?
I don't know.
Jim, we should talk to Jim Phillips. Like
not crazy.
It's quite expensive. I mean, because stabling a horse is expensive.
Yeah.
alone.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
And then you have feed, and then the
oh.
maintenance, cleaning sheets and shoes and all that kind of
but
stuff.
like what are in the ballpark of
I ain't
what?
buying this horse some Yeezys.
Like,
this horse can get some normal Payless.
Is it less than $1,000 a month?
I would say it's
I
probably
would
like an
say
affordable, like a
around
nice car
1,000.
payment. Yeah, I would say a month.
So like between
$600?
$600 to $1,000.
God, that's a good car. You could
So-
get like that like baby Maserati for that.
So once somebody had to look up T&D to buy a horse. You want
to buy one
Like-
and see if Sam goes crazy?
I
Is that
feel
what
like
we're doing?
we've done this bit already.
I
If we
know.
buy
We've
a
done
horse-
every bit, Sam. So,
If we buy a horse, does that-
as a producer, you shouldn't bring the fact that we're doing the same thing
Yeah.
over and
Right.
over.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sick of it at this
when
point.
when you say that, you know you are inadvertently pulling the curtain back.
Yeah.
Is
You're like-
Sam gonna go crazy when we get the horse?
I don't mess with horses. You guys know this.
Well, we'll have it in a stable and stuff because we don't have no.
Let's
we
keep it
got-
out back.
behind the
Wait a
parking lot.
minute. Does Morad still have the place upstairs? Let's rent that and bring it upstairs. He can
Like
live in
the studio apartment.
the one with the window, and it will open the window and stick his head out,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sunshine.
Like trailer.
And then the carpet was already like mildewed. He can crap where he'll
So,
be fine.
let me ask this
Let's put some
question.
hay on the ground. Where can we get hay? Spirit Halloween has hay.
And for sure,
Six Flags might have hay.
but I know that by asking Butler,
Do they have bales?
he is making
get it.
up the answer and has no idea. But so
He does look awful confident.
when you, I know he always
He
does.
does, yeah. Cool as a cucumber.
So I've been around Butler to know that whatever he's saying, he's making up as he goes, and
He's like the
confident.
He's like the starfish. I feel like no brain,
Yeah,
no
I can
blood.
get you a
He's
horse
like
for
living-
$500 all day from Orlando.
Yeah, $500 horse.
That's a cheap.
That's an old horse, though.
Yeah,
That's fine.
It's an old nag.
Old horses need love
see.
too.
I know a lot about old nags.
His name is
Take
Bubba.
that!
His name is Bubba.
Oh my God, he
and
won't
he's
pay
looking
pills.
for his forever home.
Oh, I bet he is.
Yeah, he's
So-
also looking for $50.
Yeah, after he got kicked off that radio show,
Yeah,
he's,
all right.
he's never been the same. He used to make $90,000 a year. Which is,
Horses need gas money.
17-year-old German warm blood.
oh, we don't want the German ones. They're
Yeah, yeah,
racist.
He's retired.
Oh.
So once we buy
I need more hay. I am very hungry.
Bubba the horse, and then we put it into.
We put it upstairs.
Look up the horse stable, like what that costs.
I don't
A
think we
cheap
need.
one.
Well, how about a storage unit? We already have our storage unit.
Yeah,
We just got to crack the door, put a fan in it. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. Animals are like, look, you just don't talk about it. It's not animal cruelty. It's not.
Yeah, if no one knows. You're right. You're right.
Oh my god.
You're right.
Yes,
You're right.
correct.
It's in there. It's got a couch. It's got the sofa and
It's got a couch. It's got a Led Zeppelin poster on the
Yeah,
wall.
it can eat the old koozies.
I'll
and
put my
bric-a-brac.
drum set in there so I have something to do. You can bang around.
Yeah. Put some feet.
I need a place to put my drum set anyway. And aren't we starting the Hot Tub and Mini Fridge band?
Yeah, yes.
I thought that was a whole thing. We did a
God.
1-hour meeting yesterday about how Tom wants to start a Hot Tub and Mini Fridge band. We're taking it back to the beach, Daytona. 30,000 people on the ocean deck.
And then like a butler quit before he started. He's like, I don't have the breath to do the do.
Yeah, I don't have the
Do
breath
the
to
do.
do the didgeridoo after I lied to you guys about having
How dare you?
Damn. I am a starfish.
So once we buy the horse for $500,
Yeah.
then what's a cheap stable?
A lot of these stables, they want you to call and ask.
No, that's how I get you.
Market value.
I want an online only order. I want to do it.
Maybe it's like I don't know.
I want to do this
What
like
type of
COVID.
horse?
No, tell them you can't be exposed. Tell them it's COVID. We got to do this all over the internet.
So we spend, let's say, $600 for a cheap one, and so then $600. So what can we go ride it whenever we want? Do they have an area?
Anywhere we want. Ride it downtown.
Well, do they
you
have?
just got to get reflectors for it. It's like a golf cart.
Do they have the stable where you can go take the horse
if
out
they
in
have
the track?
property, yeah.
Okay.
Not all of them.
Well, I
do.
don't think the stable's like downtown, and you're like, well,
Right.
what do we do with the horse? It's like, well, you could put it in your convertible and drive it out to a field and ride it.
Well, I imagine that there's probably
This
some.
one has 25 acres. That you
Yeah,
can ride
There
on.
you go.
That's
so,
good.
so you keep the horse and then you
Yeah.
go ride it around and then you bring the horse back and they take care of it. They feed it every day. They brush its tail.
Well,
What
you
else do
feed it
need?
when you're there.
Brush its tail.
You feed it when you're there. You brush its mane, you brush its
Well,
tail, you pat its nose, you give it a carrot.
But they feed it once a day, right? That's part of the
If you're
thing?
not there, I
If you're
think.
boarding
Okay.
it, yes.
Yeah. But if
Okay.
you're there, I feel like you would feed it, you know.
You got to clean out the
carrot.
stable and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dirty maintenance.
And then, like, what happens if it gets sick? Can you tell them to take it away to the
Take it to
factory?
Yeah,
it to-
or
no,
do you
you
have
said
to
like,
pay to like go and
Give
put
it
it down?
some
in the-
NyQuil.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's expensive too.
Oh, you'll have to pay for that if
Yeah,
that's
equestrian
what
vets
the
are
case
expensive.
is. Yeah.
Give it Mucinex.
But most of them will have a vet that will come on site to their stable.
But could you sell
But
it
you'll have to pay for that.
to like a dog food factory or whatever? Like,
well, when
they'll
it gets
Mm,
really bad, I think you can.
yeah, and then they'll come and pick it up like a car, and they'll haul it away for you and give you like $100, right?
It's like college hunks all junk.
yeah. Well, I'm saying like if you have an old broken down car, their services they'll call. You can call.
1-800 kids for cars for kids. That like stupid. Yeah, it's like that.
They'll come.
1-800 dead horse.
They'll come with a tow truck and
We'll
pick
come
up
get it and make some glue.
your junk car and then give you $150 because they'll sell it to a junk. You know what I'm
Scrap.
saying? So like
Horse scrap.
Yeah, they'll come. They'll pick up the horse. You don't have to do nothing. They'll give you like $100 for the meat, and then they take it off. Right?
But I want to pose in front of it before you get right. You know,
yeah, like a boat. I know it sounds harsh, but it's like that. Or are you going to pay to euthanize it, and then have to pay a crew to pick it up and bury it in some field? There's thousands of dollars. Like, you're going to do that?
Yeah, it'd be hard.
Ooh.
Anyway, sorry, got it.
Yeah, I guess we can't get a horse. How about a mini horse?
What are we, Rob Deerdick?
Well, we thought about this before, but I think we at one point when we first started the show, we wanted mini donkeys.
Yeah.
And the problem that we found out with mini donkeys is that mini donkeys need to be purchased in pairs because they get
lonely. Yeah.
They get lonely. And
Uncle Dijon had a mini horse
really?
named Alto,
Alto
which is
the-
kind of funny. I had to yell. It got away, and I was running after it, yelling Alto, which conveniently meant stop as well. So
Oh my God!
So you're running out of, after the streets of Berlin?
in France.
He's
in
running
France.
at night through the streets of Berlin.
It was, it
All
was along the
Perry?
sunflower canals of France. I was running along, my younger brother's being
Alto,
dragged.
please come back. It is me, Senor Butler.
Yeah,
As he drug you through the sunflower fields of Perry.
correct.
I believe that one. I believe that one.
I do too.
Like, that's not a rustical.
No,
That's a believable story.
That is. He was so confident in saying it too.
All right.
We can do that. I'll reach out to Bus Decker and see, maybe if they want to come on and like it would be nice to talk to somebody
that's
who
disrespectful, right?
has a horse.
Calling someone's wife a crazy horse lady.
Well, this guy, he was being disrespectful, but I'm only saying that there is a stereotype
Yes.
of crazy horse lady. This is not the first, second, or third time this has come up on the show. This is probably like the fifth.
Yeah.
It's a thing apparently.
And like, what's the relationship? I want to talk to the husbands and find out like what's the because okay, follow me here. Like, what if, like, my wife gives me a lot of guff, right?
The willy-nilly,
yeah. She's calling, and, like, she's really paying attention to all my mistakes.
And I can tell, too. I don't know if you know this, but there are times when you take phone calls where at the end of the phone call you say, I love you. And there are times that you take the phone call, and at the end of the phone call you go, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And I know that I've been known you long enough to know the difference.
Yeah. So I make a lot of mistakes, and the same ones over and over, and then it causes her to be mad. But she's paying attention to what I'm doing, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe if she had a horse, a horse is a lot to take care of. She goes and visits it all the time.
She's always kissing its snoot, and it'll take a little heat off of you.
Could that be a thing?
100%.
Because
a dog would do that too, but I know
might be easier.
I know you're not.
I was gonna say, why would you go horse route?
In a weird way, horse is easier because he doesn't have
to
keep
out of the
horse
house
in his house. You know, like he can
sleeping
go away.
in my bed.
They'll still take care of the horse at the stable. It's not in his home. A dog, it's like top of mind all the time.
Does she like horses?
She likes all animals.
She does like all animals. She's never shown any affinity.
All you got to do is give her a horse. She'll like the horse.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's easy.
And maybe
because she's an animal lover. Like if I came to your house with a trailer in the middle of the night and tied a horse to your doorknob, and she opened the door, right?
Yeah.
And then I hit the ring doorbell or something. She comes to the door, opens it, and the horse is there. That's your horse. It ain't going away.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, the birds are moving in soon.
Excuse me?
Linda Bird?
No, my mother-in-law's birds
are moving into your home
just for a temporary amount of time because
you said that last time and it was like a year.
No, well, that was
3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
but she's redoing like her entire house.
Why? She has birds.
Your family's obsessed with redoing your entire home,
but only so they can put the birds back in and they'll peck it all.
Ruin their house.
Yeah, they'll just scratch it.
She's renovating. I think she got like when we did it, she was like, I want to do it.
You get the bug. You do.
So she's been always wanting to do it since she moved in. Anyway, so there's a point in time where they have to like rip out everything in the middle, and that's where the birds live. Like they're doing the back.
Of the house?
Well, they live
like
in
the
a bird
Gaylord Palms. It's like a big. The house surrounds.
It's gonna be chaos at the van house.
And then my wife first, like my mother-in-law didn't, she was like, I'll just put the birds in the back room. And then my wife stepped in. She's like, no, are you kidding me?
Those birds are family and they're staying with us. I will not take no for an answer. You're staying with us.
Because she's like, you can't have the birds in there while they're breaking up the tiles, too loud and scary for them.
What about us? The birds are too
loud and scary for us.
What about us?
So so my wife was like, just move them in for a while they're breaking up the tile.
Wait a minute.
You can put them in our bedroom. It's fine.
Okay. The only like thing that I see that's wrong with that, like it's too loud and scary for the birds to be in there while they're breaking up the tile. Birds that live.
Oh my God! Whoa! I don't know what just happened.
Well, that's called honesty. He couldn't hold it in anymore.
Oh my God! The truth just squirted out of his mouth.
That was the truth.
Truth squirt.
That was the truth squirt. My God, man. But what I was going to say is that, like, birds that live, like, right now, we're in Baldwin Park. There's a man outside. He's using an edge or crazy, right?
Yeah.
Those birds, I think they're okay with it. I think they're all right.
They're fine.
I don't think they're scared. I think they're like, what's that loud noise? I'm good. I think they're okay.
They always look scared. Like, they're in a cage.
They're prisoners.
But I was like, all right, and then
You're a good husband, dude. You really are. Because you hold your tongue. I don't hold my tongue. That is the major difference. We see things, for the most part, alike. For the most part.
Just a P word.
But he doesn't want that. I make it bigger. I make it a bigger mess. He doesn't. Like
but his life is miserable.
But that's okay. He won't say a word about, like, I would be like, no, you're not putting these birds in here. I would take it to the brink of divorce.
Yeah, I would
And then I'd have to pull back and fix my life. He doesn't do that, and it's better. It's a better way to live.
Can she board the birds?
I'm easygoing. Yeah, you can. But I'm like,
they don't want to do
that.
It's right down the road, too. It's like more convenient. I get it.
Also, I'm always building equity. And this is future equity.
Yeah, this is you investing in Bitcoin. Your mic is dripping.
Sorry.
I spit.
It is just dripping.
Water out. I'm thinking that by doing this and remaining calm.
Norm wants to bring one bird to the studio. One, and you get to select which one gets to live here, and we'll take care of it. Norm, you're hilarious. That's good. Well, that's good, Norm.
I don't like birds.
The white one, I forgot his name.
Ginger. That's
Ginger.
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I know all
Why
the
do you know the name?
because I listen, Sam.
It pulled its neck feathers out, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has like a big body, tiny little pencil neck,
Yeah.
big bird head, and it danced crazy.
It dances. That's what it
When
sings.
the
Mariah
sun
Carey.
goes down, it
When the sun
it
goes
starts
down on my side of
and
town.
I'll hear it. I'll be in my house, and this is a football field and a half away, and I'll be like, "Oh, sun must be going down."
Now just imagine that in your house every day.
Where are you gonna put them? Because I know how your
I
house
don't
is set
know.
up now, dude.
Full screen.
I
No, they
it's
can't
too
go
hot.
outside. It's too hot.
Well, and then it gets too cold. Like I think
You got to put them in the boys' playroom.
no, it's in the no. There's carpet in there.
In the dining room.
In the dining room, we have to
No.
move the dining room table
No,
out and put
no.
all the cages in
Yeah,
there.
I ain't letting no birds ruin my goulash.
Oh, it's in there. It's gonna be there. There's no stopping it. What am I gonna do?
There's
You
no
can't.
escape in your dining room though. That's like the middle of your house.
You know,
It's the center point of
Yeah,
your
it's the
house.
center
It is
point of
the
your
exact
house.
center. But you
this
can't,
will
you,
build me equity. Like
You keep saying that. You sound like one of my friends with You sound like one of my friends with Bitcoin. I still don't understand it. You keep saying it's gonna be something. What's it gonna be?
I'm looking at this like at the end when I get through it, I could like then I can go full mistakey Tom. And
I would like to cheat on you now because of the birds.
No, I'm just saying I could start buying ridiculous. I can making ridiculous decisions, like going forward with some business plans that I've been holding off.
Wait a
on.
minute! Don't take that out on us. I didn't bring no
Was that
birds to your house.
Yeah, what's
that
that
you?
Like he's saying,
This
I
is
get
side-
freedom. I have freedom now to ruin the company
No.
because my wife brought in birds.
No,
How does that work?
I'm saying I get to like spend more time with my plants. Football. I mean, I could watch a full slate of Sunday
Okay.
games. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I see that.
Don't see that happening at all.
Well, how are you gonna hear
And
it?
then-
You
and
get one weekend out
Because
of
she's
it.
going to be like, well, you agreed to it too.
Yeah.
How are you gonna
No,
hear
but
the
she'll
games?
but she'll know. And when the birds are squawking, then I'll just walk. I won't say anything. I'll just give her an eye and be like, "Hey, this is one
This
Sunday
is-
of just watching football." Like I think.
Wait, all of this for one Sunday?
I don't
No,
think this
no,
is going
that's
to work
not
out the way
bad.
he thinks
That sounds
it
about
is.
accurate.
Every squawk, like because this
It's a Sunday. Every squawk is
yeah,
Sunday.
wow.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to write that song.
Just
You know.
another squawking Sunday.
yeah. And I have an ability to tune things out. I don't
You
know if
do.
you noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Where I could just sit there through the squawking. It'll drive my wife more
No,
crazy.
what are the
What about your
boys?
kids? Yeah.
What do the boys think?
Oh,
Now,
they'll be
Max
driven crazy.
hates the bird because it already
Get him up
trying to
good.
bite his finger off.
Yeah, bit one of his fingerprints off. But he knows now not to stick his finger.
What about
in the
Tommy?
cage.
Will you learn?
He's like you. He'll just not. He'll tune it out.
Yeah. Tommy, like,
He'll just turn his ears off. I don't know how you guys do that.
I'll tell you, like, this is my son's. So I built a cardboard castle for them one time after all the kitchen cabinets
Oh, I
came in
remember
giant
this.
cardboard.
Yeah.
So I duct tape it. It was like a multi section
It had
cardboard.
tunnels. And
It had a middle atrium, like the Gaylord Palms, that you could stand up in, and then you climbed out of different trap doors. Anyway, the kids loved it. This was years ago, or last year, actually. And I built it, and they loved it. Every day they'd play in it. So after about like 5 days, I was like, man, I gotta get this damn monstrosity out of here because it was 10 foot in diameter.
Yeah.
It was
it's
gigantic.
Just trash, but they used it. And we do the same thing with Meg. It's just got to get this out of here.
So I was like, what are we going to do? Me and Chris had a conversation. We're like, they love this thing. They want it. I'm like, I'm just going to take it out of here when they're asleep. I'm doing my own Tom Van math. I bet you they don't notice. Took it out, stuffed it in the garbage, hid it, whatever. And then the next morning they walked out watching TV.
yeah.
2 days later, they're like, hey, what happened to the house? And I was like, they played with it for 5 days. It was their favorite thing.
Maisie's not that kid. No.
Never noticed.
Maisie would literally,
it's-
before I tuck her in, she'd be like, oh, and one more thing. Don't throw away my castle.
yeah.
She'd be like, I know you want to throw away my castle. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
I'm watching on the security camera. Like, it's like, what the hell? Like,
CEO.
she's so observant. Like, if
Yeah.
I do anything with her toys, if I move something, or I clean something, I dream of Tommy. I really do. Like, just sitting there nicely with Tom. In fact, one day you will give me the gift of just playing video games with him in silence. He's playing against me. We're just playing video games, and that's it. Just so I can see what that feels like. See what it feels like to not
swap.
My kid does not shut up. My kid, I go from Butler to Maisie. and it never ends.
Well, she's a chirper like you.
Oh, but it's worse than me,
She's
dude.
a chirp and chop.
It ramped up. It's worse than me. I can control my powers. She
Yeah, yeah.
can't. She's like a new X-Men.
And-
she's shooting lasers everywhere.
Dude,
man.
a brand new fresh chirper.
Oh,
She is, yeah. I mean, because you have aged out.
You couldn't handle her, dude. You'd be like, I want to choke her out. Like if she doesn't stop talking.
No. I like it.
It's never ending.
I like it because my boys are the exact opposite. Never talk, and I want them to have conversations with
We'll
me.
try
I
it.
want to
One
find
day
out.
we'll do it. One day we'll do it.
Like, I want to talk, tell them stories, talk business. They don't not interested.
Maisie's told me all about one of her friends getting into trouble, and she stood there and witnessed it, and then gave me the rundown. She'll just sit there and give me the rundown.
And then they did this, and then they went over here, and they were coughing, and their mask fell down.
And I'm like, oh my God. It never stops. I look at Andrea sometimes and I go, I've actually, and this is mean, but I've actually looked at Andrea and said, I got to take a walk. And I'll just walk down the street. I'll just walk down the street just so I can not hear anything.
That is hilarious because I'll sit in my house and be like, who's here? Oh yeah. And then
I never do
the
that.
boys
Who's
quietly playing with stuffies on Tommy's bed, but like in a whisper manner. And it's like, what the heck? And I'm not even bragging. I'm just like, I want them to be rambunctious boys and out there screaming, fighting, pulling each other's hair, like breaking stuff. Like I want the chaos of that.
We got to get out of here.
All right.
I'll talk about it, but hey, we're finding out today. You'll like this. Guess who signed up to play for Orlando City today? Today's her first day. She starts Orlando City Soccer Club. She's starting the girls'
Andrea.
Andrea. No, Maisie wanted to do it. She's like, we're like, you're already in dance. You want to do soccer? She said, I want to do soccer.
Oh, dude, she's a natural athlete.
Signed her up, so she goes today. It should be fun. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it'd be.
Or she wanted the free uniform.
Well, there's no money in dance. You got to push for soccer because
there's no money in female soccer. Look at how
but,
hard
they paved the way for when Maisie
did.
grows up, she can make some
paid.
scratch. You know what I'm saying? Like the women now have paved the way for women in the future. I think to make money. I mean,
they're
dude,
still fleshing it out, but it'll get there.
The women's national team is more popular in the United States
than the men's team.
So it looks like to me.
No, it is.
I mean, they're more successful.
No, they are more popular. There's more superstars on that team than on the men's team. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's jump into your emails. show@tomandan.com if you'd like to leave us one, and we certainly do like them. First email.
This is about the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Tom recently mentioned that his sons have started watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albano starring as Mario.
Albano?
Albano?
Captain Lou Albano, I think.
I watched the show as a kid and absolutely loved it. At the end of each episode, there's a song called Do the Mario, and I would jump to my feet and dance along with Captain Lou to cap off my Saturday mornings. There's one bizarre footnote in the history of the show, though, and that's the PSA they did for drug awareness. It starts off with the normal don't do drugs message you'd hear in the 80s, but at the very end, it takes a hard left and catches you off guard. I won't spoil it for you, but I'll attach the link for reference. Forever doing the Mario, Ryan. And he did send me the link. Oh, you got it?
I think I got it. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to go in here. I got to manipulate my screen a little bit. Hold on here.
So
that looks correct.
Okay.
This is a weird show that is still.
I have to look this up on YouTube and watch it when I'm high.
It's odd. I watched it as a kid.
It's on either Netflix or Hulu or something because my sons watch it or have watched it.
Well, it could be on YouTube, right? Don't they watch a lot of YouTube?
Yeah, maybe they was coming up on YouTube. You might be right.
This is a young Captain Lou. Like, he looks good. Now, I remember him as the wrestling manager who hung out with Cyndi Lauper, and had a bunch of rubber bands in his earrings and in his beard. It was all about the rubber bands, Captain Lou Albano. But he was always a manager, and it led me to believe that in his younger days, I'm just guessing because I didn't look him up. I'm guessing he was a wrestler. And when wrestlers start to decline, pain pills, you get fat, and then you become a manager, right?
You're so good talker.
So you can still party and talk.
Yeah. And you get paid by being this character,
right? So here is Captain Lou.
And you could take some bumps because all managers end up getting
well,
beat
you've
up
already
early.
taken bumps, so your body knows how to do it. I mean, even I know how to take a bump. Like, I could do a bump right here. Well, I wouldn't want to do it on this carpet, but I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to do it on the ground and tuck your neck so you don't, hurt yourself. All right, here is the Captain Lou, Just Say No to Drugs.
He looks like he's on drugs.
Yeah, he does look a little.
I'm sure he was.
He's on cocaine right
Here
now.
we go. Here we go.
Well, about I'm talking about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Oh my God! Before you die.
I like the producers are like, that wasn't on the script.
No,
For a
you went
child
wrong,
show?
Lou.
like Lou, like, can you do one without the hell part? Because that wasn't on the script.
I want to hear it again.
Don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.
Please. At the end. He's like, I know, I'm in living hell right now. The hell? You guys were weird in the 80s.
Well, he went rogue. He thought he was doing good, right? Like he thought he was like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw the hell
he was
thing in there.
improvising.
I'm gonna go rogue and throw the hell thing in there. That'll keep some kids
That
off
was
drugs.
like old Greenie the other day.
And you know what? He probably did do some good. I bet you there were some kids who
whoa,
were very,
I don't want to go to hell
grew
before I
up in a
die.
religious
Yeah,
family who heard Captain Lou say that, and they're like, I don't want to be in the lava with Hitler.
Yeah.
I'm not roasting alive.
Sounded like the guy from Shark Week who flushed his underwears down the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain Lou.
So it's funny because there's like a whole internet full of PSAs by like people
That should not do PSAs.
They were on drugs at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
all,
the
like,
best is that
famous for doing drugs the entire time while they're
Didn't
doing.
like Rob Lowe have to do one as
Yeah.
part of like his
lot of court
role?
ordered. Yeah.
like my favorite was Johnny
Robert Downey
Depp's.
Jr.
I
Yeah.
don't
Johnny
know if I remember
Depp's
his.
about like taking animals.
Oh, now
into,
he's like open about doing cocaine. He doesn't care.
like he took.
Oh, really?
yeah, that was
he-
in the court case. He was like, "Oh yeah, I do cocaine all the time."
Yeah, like he took. Remember when he took his pets and he shouldn't have taken his pets or whatever, and it was like a big deal. And then
Oh,
he had to
yeah.
do like some PSAs about like taking your pets to Australia or whatever he did.
Oh, right.
The thing about Johnny Depp too, he's got this new commercial for some sort of cologne where
Yes.
it's like him playing guitar and like some wolves.
Yeah.
And it's like garbage. It's like weird because it's all dated. Like he's still rocking the rosary beads and the 1,000 wooden beads necklaces and
the
a vest.
scarves.
Yeah,
Dior.
scarves and vests
And the
all-
mini top hat.
Yeah, like a mini top hat. You look like
Yeah.
you train cats for a living. What the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing?
Well, he's a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a super talented weirdo. Like,
Well, he's
super.
addicted to the fame, though, or he'd tuck in, right? There's so much bad press about that guy now. You'd think he'd just tuck in and enjoy his
He
life.
wants his comeback because he wants to
What's
come
your
back from being called a domestic abuser.
Yeah, but he is a domestic abuser, according to, like, most people, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't been convicted though.
I get it, but, like, when 1 million people...
Or a lot of people tell the
Right.
same story. It's
It's
probably
just
like,
like-
there's something there.
Yeah, there's something there. So,
Who
like,
knows what it is, but it's something.
my thing is, like, why
But
not...
he's a narcissist.
Why not tuck
so-
in and
because
just... Yeah,
he won't?
He won't.
Well, also, he's a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're saying what a rational person would do facing his circumstances, but he's not going to do that because he's not rational. He's a weirdo, and he's a talented weirdo.
Yes.
And that we all enjoy his movies, but a lot of times we can't, we expect the super talented actor or musician or whatever to have like a normal life. That's what we want for them. We want them to be like, wow, they're insanely brilliant or like acting like this, and then they go back and they're just like us, and you're like, oh, they're not just like us because
Yeah.
their brain works differently. You know what I'm saying? It's like Kanye West, like he writes the music. He suffers from bipolar, and like his brain works differently. So that's why he's doing.
There's also a thing I think
weird
with
things.
Johnny Depp is like he's been rich and famous for so long that
That
he's so
makes-
out of touch.
His
you know what I
reality
mean?
is
Yeah, his
different.
reality
Yeah.
is completely
I
different.
agree.
Cannot relate.
Yeah, you mix weirdo with a weirdo reality of being famous and rich for 25 years. I mean, how long has Johnny Depp been famous and rich?
More than
Longer
20.
than that,
Yeah.
yeah.
30
I mean, like, he's a
years
kid
of-
actor, right?
Yeah.
Like he's teens.
So he's never had a normal life. So
No.
why do we expect him to be normal?
No, you're correct.
But with that, then you start getting into where, okay, now you're not only a weirdo, but you're a horrible person to people, and
Could be,
to your
yeah.
past girlfriends and all this stuff, like all these stories coming out. It's like, well, that just makes you horrible. You can be as weird as you want as long as you're not hurting other people.
Right.
When
right.
you start
Well,
hurting,
I'm pretty weird, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I don't like knocking women around. It's just not my thing. It does not. I don't like knocking anybody around, right? Like hitting a human is not a thing to do. It's just not. Maybe when I was a young baby, figuring out what.
Yeah, you don't know any
I'm
better.
just
than
not.
that.
Yeah, I'm not that guy and slapping
yeah.
people around. I'm a middle-aged man, and that's not my vibe.
Let's do another email.
I'm liking the emails.
Hot toilets and hot hoses.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Hola, Dan. Is it? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hola.
Hola, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Wiener alert. It was a funny show, and I loved it. I don't know what I give you a month, but I feel like it's worth it. Anyway, there was a discussion about how hot water can come from a garden hose. I believe the sun is a good answer.
He's right. How many times as a kid did you
Yeah,
pick
but
up...
that only lasts a few seconds.
Yeah, but it always hit me in the face because I'm
Depends
stupid.
how long the hose is.
Yeah, that's true.
It
Hey,
will
red
last.
stripe.
All the water in the hose heats up to. I mean, it is hot.
Don't know.
There are a myriad of stupid things that can only be explained by the individual, but in my experience, it came from the hose lying in the sun, and then the valve is turned on and blasts the super hot water on unsuspecting kids looking for fun, but get burnt first. And the hot toilet thing, so comfy. I did it on accident once at a remodel and used it before I fixed it. The porcelain was the perfect temperature and so comfy. The customer also enjoyed it, but didn't want to pay the extra electric bill. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I call BS on that because toilet seats are two-part. If you're heating the porcelain, you're not heating the seat. The seat is wood or plastic.
But by proxy, it might heat it a
Absorb the
little
heat.
bit.
I don't know, man.
But
I think this guy's just trying to say something to impress us.
the initial hot water goes into the holding tank in the back, so that's when it's going to be the hot. Then you flush it, and it only fills a little bit of.
It swirls the sides. It doesn't even hit the edge of the porcelain on the top.
Yeah.
So my point is, you're not
It's
going
not
to feel
gonna
that
heat.
heat.
Yeah,
You're not going to
yeah.
feel that heat.
Unless the heat from the holding tank somehow can translate.
Radiates heat through the whole thing.
Seems like
I don't want to
Yeah.
be hot when I deuce.
No.
No, but you want to be like a good, not cold. You don't. Want
I
a
would
cold
rather, on the flip side of this email, I would rather, much like the old bro bar that you and I used to go to, Club 23 in downtown Orlando. I would rather have I'd rather be deucing on some ice cubes.
Oh yeah. Like in the
Keep
old,
it cool, man. Yeah, chill it out.
Ember or not Ember?
23.
Yeah, was it 23?
It's called 23.
Yeah. Above Mako's.
Yeah. It was like some private club that these guys opened. The guys that owned Mako's at the time opened this club called 23, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is like super exclusive, and only you guys could be there." And like we went up there, and you go into these like everything was
oak room.
wood, the oak room. There's like, but 23 was off the side of the oak room, and it was just like it looked like a library, and you would just go in there. It was like this fancy room, and I'd look around, I'd be like, "This is where people cheat on their wives." Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
He said the customer also enjoyed it but didn't want to pay the extra electric bill. People flush a lot, so the toilet remains a warm temperature throughout the day. Again, yes, if you turn on your hose when it's been sitting out in the sun, yes, immediately it will come out hot. But that is not... It's not like when you're hooking up a sprinkler the whole time it's going to stay hot.
Yeah. You'd have to hook it up to, like I said, a laundry or outside sink or something that you had hot water access to.
How hot can water get? What's
from the just regular?
Yeah.
Like your sink or shower temperatures?
Because I feel like my water from my hot water heater is extraordinarily scalding hot. Like it's
You could set it. You could set.
Man.
You can make it hotter if you want. I think it only go up legally to a certain temperature, but I'm sure you could hack that.
overclock it like a computer or something.
I'm sure there's
I want
plumbers
it
out there.
hot. I want it steam coming out
I
of
love
my
it
house.
boiling.
Yeah, I like it hot too, but it's not good. I heard.
Yeah, it dries your skin out.
Yeah, most people say it's not good for you to do like really hot showers.
But it feels so good.
It does feel good.
I've been thinking about getting an instant a water heater. Have you
want
heard of that?
Yeah.
Like you get heated
as
by
much
gas.
as you want.
As long as you want, and then you can eliminate the holding tank. And they say it's more efficient,
It's safer,
doing
too.
the instant. But it's one of those things where, yes, you could save some energy, and you take it's less space or whatever. But your actual experience is not that different because who runs out of hot water or the hot water heater
We do.
regularly? Is it because of all the showers?
Yeah, I think it's more about Maisie and Andrea's long hair and taking longer
Long time,
showers.
okay, yeah.
Like washing hair, washing 2 sets of very long hair, conditioning, rinsing, washing a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And then by the time I pull a Tom Van, you'd be very proud of me. I don't say a word. I just get in there and take my cold shower and keep my mouth shut.
Could you get an instant heater?
I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could.
Well, you need gas, and I don't know if you could.
No,
get
maybe
gas.
not with the townie. No.
Yeah,
you're
because
probably right.
They unless Baldwin has some sort of natural gas hookup, because sometimes they do. Like
I don't know.
You just have to ask about
Yeah,
it.
I'd have to look into
But if
that.
not, then there's no way to get the instant heater.
It would be cool if I did get it, though. I want it so bad. Keep
What?
going. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause you.
Dead Dad's Club question. Hey gang, so this has probably been discussed and answered before, but as I've been listening for about 10 years now, it kind of all runs together. My question is, are you a member of the Dead Dad's Club if the main male figure who raised you is dead, but
Yes.
but your actual dad is still alive?
Yeah, it's the person
Yeah.
it's the person that your daddy, your father, the person that loves you.
Yeah.
So it says, for example, I was raised by my grandparents. Not that my parents weren't around. They were just young when I was born, 16 and 18. My grandfather passed away in 2013, and my dad is alive today. So does that make me a member of this unfortunate club, or
Yeah.
technically no?
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Not that this club most people want to be a part of or anything. I was just curious as to your thoughts. Thanks for your time. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to your response.
Yeah, because the dad implies that they were your dad, which means they took care of you or had some influence in your
What
life.
if you were raised by a single mother and then your mother dies?
Yeah,
Part of the Dead
you're-
Dad's Club?
yeah, you're in.
Dead Moms Club.
Single mom. Well, but also single moms sometimes fill the role of both.
that was my point.
So I would say
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, it depends on if you.
Now I'm keeping them out.
Oh.
I'm keeping.
I like that. I
Gender
like a hard
specific.
line.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
I'm saying there's. I mean, listen, you gotta have club rules. In the Dead Dad's Club, you have to have a dead father that took care of you.
Okay.
So it has to be a male figure that raised you.
Like there's Dead Moms Club.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then-
in that too.
We never really hear about that, though.
No,
I hit both. Yeah.
we don't hear about it as much. Maybe
Women live longer.
Women live longer. Dads seem to die.
Well, they
first or
also
whatever.
matter less. So I don't say as much about my mom because my dad meant more.
Why would you? I'm mad that I apologize.
I just like to see what you guys will say when I say things.
So
like
yeah, that does count. Because
Yeah,
I think it's because who cares? Like if your biological father dies and you never even knew him, who cares? Or if he's still alive, like it doesn't mean your dad's still alive. If a stranger is still alive, that's biologically your dad, right?
Yeah.
Because I would just call that a biological. Father. It's just like
Yeah, I mean-
I'm related to the stranger by genes, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's really the person that just flipped the on switch, right?
yeah.
He didn't do anything. He just like turned the lights on. It's like, okay, well, thank you for that. But this guy's the guy that did all the heavy lifting and making me a man and making me a good human being. And
It must be weird though, like meeting a stranger that looks like you, and then
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like a lot of people, you hear it all the time, and I've known people that have met their biological parents
yeah.
later in life as they were.
My
an
husband
adult.
met his brother later in life,
Yeah.
and they look a lot alike, and it's kind of weird.
Is it half brother?
Yeah, half brother.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing too. It's like I can't imagine that or how I'd feel.
And they're
but
both grown adults when they met
Yeah.
each other, so it's weird.
There must be some. Have you ever talked to him? Like, do you feel any bond whatsoever? I mean, it's more than a stranger, right? A guy who is
I
related
know,
to
it's
you.
pretty much a stranger.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a
Depends on
little,
how much
one
you-
tick more.
it depends on how much you want to do that, right? Like how much you want to open up that pathway of life. I mean, there is an argument to be made here that if you haven't lived with this particular sibling or whatever, and then you do find out down the road that you have a sibling or a dad or a mom or somebody
Yeah.
you've never met before, there's a part of me that says maybe it would be easier to just carry on the way that you've always done and kind of stay separate because, you know, what are you trying to do? You're
Maybe-
basically trying to form some sort of pathway that may not be feasible, may not be good to do that.
Well, true. If something,
Especially if that person doesn't want you to know that they are your dad. And I'm big on that. Like, you know, these people, I got friends that
Yeah.
will be like, I'm going to find my real dad. And then they do. And then they go and they look up the guy. And I'm like, well, wait a minute here.
Just don't get your heart on
That
you.
person,
Yeah.
though, might not want to.
Be a part of your
And
life.
I don't
Yeah.
mean that in the negative way. I mean that in the way that they gave you up. Possibly because
Or
they
laughed or
are
whatever.
not the person to be a dad, or they are
Right.
not the person to be a mom, and maybe they're intelligent enough and mature enough to understand that. So then they give you up knowing that you will have a better chance at having a wonderful life living with somebody else who wants that role, right?
yeah,
And then you go and you find this person, and then you kind of turn your own world and their world upside down. It's sort of, is it selfish? A little bit? to do that?
Well, yes, and I think a lot.
You know what I mean? Like if you
a lot of times, but it's for them though. Like that, and that's what I've learned from people that do this.
But it's selfish, right?
Yes, but they don't. Yes, it is selfish, but they don't care because they're like, well, screw the person. I need to meet this person.
Why?
Because it's some sort of like chip on their shoulder or something they have to get like past so they can get past it.
Is it fair to
It's kind of like
closure. It's like closure.
Is it fair
like
to
seeing
the person that gave you up if you're the mom or the dad that gave the kid
screw
up?
them because they gave you up.
No,
so
but
it's
they
not
needed
about
to
them.
give you up though. What if it's what if it's a positive thing to give you up?
Right, like necessity.
You don't.
Yeah, but you
aren't able to raise the child yourself.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
That is an actual thing.
Adoption. That's you're right. So
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like them just neglecting you. That's a different animal.
Going out for a pack of cigarettes. Yeah, but like legally give you up for adoption. You're right. That's a hard thing because the person.
It's all situational too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So say
no, it's just it's all complex, right?
You bring
every situation is going to be different.
I have a friend that did that. That's why I brought it up.
But you bring up a good point in the fact that the person tried to do the most responsible thing and give their baby the best life, right? Because that person's like, I can't give.
Kind of like your pop, right?
This baby. Oh, that was like they gave it up because of the Great Depression.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't. I'm sure they didn't. If you asked them, I don't think they wanted to do that.
But they're not even mad about it. It was just like that's what happened and needed to happen. I'm like, all right. I'm like, he never saw. Like, I'm sure. Imagine if he saw a therapist. So like, I make the therapist quit their job. They'd be like, oh my god. Anyway, but. So they tried to do the responsible thing, and they're commendable for doing that because obviously you're trying to give this human the best life possible. But then this human tracks you down, 25 years later.
Easier than ever now, right?
I guess it's one of those things where you have to put that as a thing that could happen when you give that baby up. Like, this human could track me down in the future, and who knows?
It depends on which. Someone in the chat was just asking about that. There are agencies where you can document that you don't want the child to contact you, and you kind of want to remain anonymous, essentially.
Yeah,
true,
but
now because the internet,
there are cases where they do that, but then the child, grown adult now,
internet sleuths it.
It's just like, well, that doesn't matter. I'm still going to track you down. That's been happening,
and it's easier than ever now. Like, think about it. Like, you got given up 20 years ago, so this is like 2000, right? So your parents gave you up in 2000, and you're like, all right, I live in St. Cloud, Florida. Let me start looking like back at some records or like find out from my adopted parents like what agency adopted, and like you could start sleuthing it to the point where you track down some people who know some people. Like, oh yeah, I knew Andy. I think he gave up his kid for adoption. So then you start, and then you look at his picture on Facebook. You're like, well, that looks like me in my eyes or whatever, and like there it is. And then you track that person down because you need to have some sort of. I imagine it's just human nature to like want to seek out.
Want to know where you came from.
That biological parent, just to have a conversation. And a lot of times that's it. Like, I've known people that had that one meeting with their biological parent and they exchange emails, and then that was about it. It's like, and that's all they needed. Like, psychologically, they just needed to see that person and then know that they have their email, and really they don't have that much of a relationship, but for whatever reason,
it's like checking a box almost or something.
But I can't understand it. You can't, and none of us that are not in that situation. But I could understand the drive.
Well, I feel bad for both parties. You know? In one way, you've got this person that's questing to try and answer some questions in their past that they can't. You almost got born with a certain level of anonymity there, and then you got the other person who's trying to keep that. I mean, and maybe you don't want that disruption in your life. That would be it would be bad.
Although better than the parent that treats you
like
crap and abuses you and stuff like that. That's like, that is the ultimate worst. Like, you could be a parent and like live with your kids and be worse than if you would have just abandoned them to begin with because they're a horrible person. Anyway, all right, bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. The fish are here. I'll put the fish on real quick so you can see them. There they are, alive and well. And let's just jump into it because our guest has limited time. He's going to be in Orlando at the Orlando Improv, theimprovorlando.com. If you want to get tickets, what are the shows?
2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. And like Daniel said, theimprovorlando.com for tickets. But we got Affion Crockett on Zoom. How you doing, Affion?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
Good, man. Thanks for the time. Appreciate you joining us today via the Zoom.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. You know, I'm excited to come to Orlando tomorrow night. Saturday night, you know, we're going to act a fool.
Yeah, and we're open. You know that. Florida is wide open, has been. No virus here. It's not happening.
Yeah, y'all didn't really care.
No. Well, we did.
COVID like it was a gator.
Yeah, we used our airboat to blow the COVID towards the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, that and the humidity. Y'all was like, man, this can't do nothing to us.
Yeah, the little COVID balls are getting stuck in the water in there.
They hang, and you can just swipe them out of the air and throw them in the trash. No big deal.
Exactly. Y'all were using a mask as tissue to just blow your nose. Y'all wasn't even using it.
Affion.
Put a snotty mask on the roads in Florida.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Affion, we saw on social that you promote DraftKings a lot, and I like gambling, so I got to ask you.
This is your guy right here. In fact, I made him write down the codes to get his free whatever, the 150, whatever. I'm like, dude, you need
get your code. Get your code.
Yeah, this guy is your guy. This is your boy right here. He is gamble crazy.
So, Affion, I'm curious, did DraftKings approach you? Did you approach DraftKings because you're into sports gambling? How did that work?
No, they came to me because they see that I act a fool on social media, and I create a lot of videos.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, we need to get those eyeballs on our product.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's just about the the amount of following you have. Are you a sports bettor? Are you into gambling?
Nah, not at all. I like to keep my money in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do it for a little bit here, a little bit there to make the game like.
A little bit adds up to a lot of loss. We don't do that around here.
Well, if you keep track of it, Affion, like if you go back.
I grew up poor. I can't do it. I don't bet. I bet on my life every time I leave my house. The cops are outside. I don't bet my money.
That's exactly how I feel. Yes.
He has to navigate life as a black man in America. He's
exactly, man. You know what I'm talking about.
He's gambling every day.
I can't even go down the street.
So, Affion, I wanted to ask you about that. You grew up in an Army family. And everybody, or not everybody, but I talked to a lot of people that grew up in an Army family.
Sure,
and
military families.
Military family and the travel, and everybody talks about like, oh, you're moving from place to place. But every person that had that experience seemed to have a lot more grit than everybody else.
Well, like our buddy Angel, his dad was a big-time military guy, and Angel is as good as it gets, right?
Yeah, I mean the hard worker, the grit. What was your experience, and do you find that is true as well? Just that experience made you a tougher person?
1,000%. I mean, I work hard. I have the work ethic. I don't wait around for opportunities to come to me. I go get them because I saw my dad put on those Army boots and go into the field for 2 weeks without real food and real showers. And he just worked hard and he never complained. He just came home and slept a lot. And then when he woke up, he ate a lot. So, you know, that was my experience. The only drawback is I keep breaking up with women every 3 years because, you know, in the military, you pick up and go every 3 years.
So, okay, you're used to the cycle. You're like, man, this has been a while.
It's time for a deployment.
Exactly. Bye, woman.
Well, Affion, you mentioned like your dad's a military man and the non-complaining, and that it seems like that generation.
That's a rarity these days. The non-complaining.
Yeah, of just like you do your work, you shut up, and then you do your work again, and then you die eventually.
Yeah, it was like work, family, dead.
Yeah. But do you think? Because I often think like people reference how it was back in the day and how people were. But I'm like, well, maybe if they had social media and that was the thing, they would complain on it. Like, maybe they didn't complain because, they got their family to talk to and their buddies at work and that's it. And, do you think that if your dad had Twitter, he'd start complaining about his day on it?
Oh, yeah. It's funny you say that because I use that same theory when it comes to cheating and infidelity in families, right? Yeah. You look at the older generations and say, oh, man, I really wish I had what my grandparents had. But your grandparents did not have social media. So, they didn't have all of the options in public of people they could go cheat with. Yeah. But what happens is in a black family, you go to your cookout and family reunion, and you'll meet several uncles that look just like you, but have different last names. So they were complaining and dipping out and had other options and all that kind of stuff. They just never talked about it.
Okay.
On today's in today's culture, you talk about everything. So you're gonna know about that uncle when he's born. Now we can't wait to post. Now we cannot wait.
Yeah, no,
it's true.
You bring up a good point. Like our older generations, they didn't tell anybody anything. Like that's why they freaked out so much when Google. Like my grandfather freaked out when he found out that you could look at his house through a satellite, the Google Earth, because he was like, "What?" He's like, "That's private." And then so it's like, and nowadays there's no privacy. We all got used to like, oh yeah, just search people's names and address and how much they make and all your business.
Like we just had a coworker. I didn't know his age. I was able to just go to the records and type it in, get his birthday, know exactly how old he is, where he lives now. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you consider yourself at all a private person? Is there anything about your life you don't share on stage?
Yeah, I'm very private. You know, I share what I want people to know about me, and I shut up about all the rest. It's not on social media. It's not Googleable. You know.
Yeah. Affion, do you do a podcast?
I don't do a podcast, but I have a series on Facebook audio chat called Affion Combos. So I haven't gotten into the podcast game as of yet. I know it's a lot of heavy lifting. I know it's a lucrative market, but I'm working on a deal to get to where that I can just jump into it and it's favorable for me.
Nice. Awesome. I was going to ask you because we've seen the transition, and as like comedians come in through the improv, like we saw, like there was a time that everybody had a podcast. Then some dropped off and some kept going, and
you get a weird pod fade thing,
and it does seem like every comedian has a podcast. So I wondered if people were going to start doing different forms of. I mean, essentially, a Facebook Live show is pretty close to a podcast. It's more visual and stuff like, so it's all kind of morphing to, it's all the same thing, but I did wonder if like people are going to start doing other things beyond podcasts.
Like, do you feel like that's something that you would need to do now, or is it nice now, like, because you've been doing this for a very long time, if any of our listeners Google just your name and just look at your credits.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when did you start acting? When you were like 6 or something? I mean, like, how long have you been like doing this? Because the first thing I saw on there, what was it, the very bottom? It was
it's Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, it was Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, were those really your first couple of like real big gigs?
Yeah, those were really my first couple of credits. And Charlie's Angels, I was a featured extra. So I got paid more than the extras, but we got hired as dancers for the Soul Train scene, which is ironic that I had to audition to be a Soul Train dancer when at the time I actually was dancing on Soul Train.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had to audition and do it. But anyway, it was one of my first jobs. Cameron Diaz was the most cool person ever. We had to help her off the stage when she was doing her little Soul Train dance. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David literally was like on the fly. So we're on set. He's like, what's your name? I said, Affion. He's like, hey, let's use that. And I didn't know what he was going to do. And so when I'm in the scene with him, and it's like, hey, I'm Affion. He's like, oh, that's my uncle's name. You know, and so Larry David is such a genius that for that to be one of my first jobs, it gave me the template for how I wanted to work in Hollywood, which was a very loosely structured improvisational way, but still with a directional story, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That's how I work now almost all the time. Even with my stand-up, I know what I'm with the beginning, the middle, and the end is. But how I get there is, you know, I chat with the crowd and I freestyle, I sing songs. So it's very Larry David.
That's crazy, man. I love it.
Well, Affion, me and Daniel talk a lot about improv, and like, because we basically do that, talking to each other, doing a show. You don't know where you're going to go, but there is, and I wanted to ask you about your stage show, like, when you set it up like that, is there any like barriers? Like if you're not feeling well, is it harder to improv? Like does your like how you're physically feeling make a difference, or your mood emotionally?
Like sometimes it's very difficult for me and Tom. Like we feel like we perform the best when we don't care as much, if that makes sense. It's like if you can go in there relaxed and have fun.
If there's too much pressure on you, it's hard to improv.
What are your thoughts on something like that?
No, that's very true. the mood does change a bit, right? If you're physically not well, if you're emotionally not well, but the professionalism in me comes out because I understand that people are paying their money to come see me. So I can't just be on stage pouring out my emotions or complaining about how I don't feel well. I click into that overdrive and I know I'm on stage for an hour, maybe an hour 10. I'm going to give them the show that they came for. And then when I get backstage, I may, complain and cuss. I'm like, I'm exhausted and I don't want to do this again. But when I'm on stage, I have to entertain. So, but definitely in a more relaxed state. The more relaxed you are, as opposed to nervous and tense, it's going to be way better.
Now, Samantha, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask Affion our quintessential question, just because it's the first time he's been on our show. So, and we've been asking every comedian for a lot of years about private gigs, and a lot of them have a story about doing a private gig earlier on in their career, whether it be like a house party or a strip club or a corporate gig, or
could be a field, could be the woods, a cabin.
And a lot of people have a story about private gigs that they took that didn't go so well, or some of them went well, but it's like it's a non-traditional out of the like a
maybe they
comedy club.
They didn't have a PA. Maybe they paid you with a shoebox of money, something like that.
So, do you have any private gig stories throughout your career?
I have too many. We'd be on here for too long.
Okay.
The private gig stories happen, and it's normally when the audience has no idea who you are and they're not expecting you, because at most private events they're expecting a DJ and or a singer, right? Maybe a dance number. When you get on, you grab the mic and you start, hey, what's going on? How y'all feeling out there? And they're eating their food. And half of the tables, the chairs are turned away from you. So people are eating their food. And you're wanting them to do this. Turn around and laugh at you. And then go back to their food. It doesn't happen. They don't care. And comedy doesn't necessarily go off well, especially if they're not expecting you, and if it's at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. They don't care.
Now you're describing like a
lunch comedy,
a convention, or like like a private gig that some corporation hired. Is that kind of the deal? Like some insurance convention that hired you, or some sort of
look. One time there was a college, and they wanted me to come up, and they were like, just entertain the students. It literally was me in the lunch cafeteria during the day. Half of them have their books out, they're studying and cramming for a test. The rest of them are eating. It's multicultural, so everyone's grouped into their own group. All the black dudes sitting together, and then the white girls are sitting together with their glasses on, and then the foreigners are they don't know who I am or what I'm saying. So I'm just up there trying to tell jokes, and then finally I now have to start talking about them, and I got a couple of chuckles. But it's it's not fun.
Hard, man.
That's what happens when you put some sort of student council in charge of the entertainment and you give them a budget.
We were asked to do that.
They have no idea.
We were asked to do this year at UCF down the road. We were asked to go there and set up and do a live podcast. For lunch. And I'm like, no.
Oh, like, you didn't tell me. I would have done that.
No, I'm not doing that.
Well, how much did it pay?
Nothing.
Because
they wanted to volunteer.
They wanted us to do it for free.
As alumni.
Because Affion, at a certain point, like those private gigs are horrible, but some of them pay insane amounts of money. So you're just like, who cares if it's horrible? I'll just take my box of cash and get the hell out. Have you ever had something?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but there's something degrading about the fact that you arrive and there's no stage. When I did that in college, I'm standing on a window ledge in front of those cobblestone windows from the 80s that they used to shoot through, like in a Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those that I'm standing in front of, and the sun is behind me, so they can't even see me. It's just like glare and poor PA mic.
No, not good.
And the money wasn't even that great. It was just money that I needed.
Which is the worst part. You're like, this is going straight to rent.
Again, a perfect time to remind you that the PA system at the Orlando Improv is fantastic. TheImprovOrlando.com. Snag them tickets.
I got one last question for Affion. You've been in the industry for long enough where you've seen the transition from like the traditional way it's always been done now to a million different ways because the internet and the way people consume entertainment is completely open now.
Look at what he's doing now. You know, we have you via Zoom. I was just watching a clip of you on daytime news where you're doing the normal sit on the couch and then you do like impressions, which you do amazing impressions, by the way.
Yeah.
And but like, is that where you're going? Like, it's pretty repetitive, and the world has changed real fast.
Yeah, and then I was kind of talking like one is doing the media and doing those news shows have got to be everybody's glad I think you don't have to do those anymore. And then secondly, it's actually getting your stuff out there is so much easier. You don't have to follow through the traditional avenues of going through this casting agent, and there's only a handful of big production companies.
If you got enough money, you can self-produce, right?
Yeah, and there's so many different avenues. So what's your opinion on how it's changed?
I mean, you guys just spoke about everything I'm experiencing now. Because of my grit from my Army father, I'm not one that likes to wait. I hate auditions. I don't like to go to casting directors and prove myself to them. I self-finance my own projects. And that's really how I've been able to stay in my career, stay in people's faces, stay relevant. Because if you wait to be hired to do something, you're not, for what I do, I'm able to use the internet to put out material immediately.
Right.
And it discusses pop culture right now. If something happens today, I can do a video about it today. To wait around and say, oh, I hope I get an opportunity to be on a show. I hope they cast me and hire me to do this. Why are you waiting?
Yeah.
I can, even DraftKings, like that wasn't through an agency, so to speak. My agent negotiated the deal once it came, but to be able to have that direct to, consumer and direct to the companies and the products, that relationship that you can get on social media, it's unmatched.
I'm curious now, like, is the business nowadays, if I'm a company and I see Affion Crockett social and I see your numbers and I want to advertise with you on that or for you to promote a company, do I go to your agent now to do that?
Or do I jump in your DM?
Yeah. How does that work business-wise?
Sometimes it's DM, sometimes it's a friend referral. And then again, the agency will negotiate the terms. But for the most part, they do know how to find you through your agency. I have my agency listed on my bio on Instagram, Facebook. So that's the traditional way of doing it. But now, again, everything is so unconventional. You could look through your DMs and overlook something that it could end up being very lucrative down the road. So you just have to be careful how you manage your messages.
It is weird that you're right. There's an element of validity and like authenticity to some DMs now. We got one a couple of months ago from a guy that owns a podcast magazine, and he wanted to talk to us about it. I didn't see it come through, you can
miss opportunities a lot easier nowadays.
I reached back out to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I'll put you back in rotation." I missed it. Okay.
Right.
It happens.
Well, Affion, has been great talking to you. Again, want to tell everybody,
you too, man.
Affion's going to be at the Improv, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Get your tickets now before it sells out.
TheImprovOrlando.com. Our guys love the live comedy, so I feel confident that they will be out there. Wear your Tom and Dan gear and let them know where you heard it. Thanks for your time.
Come on out.
We appreciate it. Enjoy your time in Orlando, and I hope we get to do this again sometime, but hopefully in person, okay?
And let me say this, man, I'll definitely show up in person. But when I first saw the title of your show, it said The Mediocre Show with Tom and Dan. This show is nothing similar to mediocre. You guys are great.
We appreciate that.
Excellent. And I've done a lot of shows. And I can tell you, the ones that think they're all that, they're the mediocre ones.
Wow.
You guys are really great at your research and your interview tactics. I appreciate you.
We're just
really
two
fun.
dumb white dads that can read.
Well, Affion, my first instinct as a dumb old white guy was just to be like, Affion Crockett's here. Do Jay-Z.
Yeah, do Jay-Z.
Oh my god.
Because it's the only rapper that white people know.
As I sit.
Right.
Yeah. Give me some Talib Kweli. Like, what?
All right, dude.
What? Sounds like the Taliban. We're not going to see that guy.
Pretty close. Well, hey, man, enjoy Orlando, and we hope to see you again sometime soon.
Thank you. How you doing, guys?
All right, man, you too. What a cool guy.
Yeah, it was cool.
He was, he was flipping opinions in the chat room because apparently some people were like, I had one opinion of him on Wildin' Out, and then after after the interview, Norm was even like, I like this guy. This guy's awesome.
Just
check another one for black comedians on this show. My God, these guys work hard.
Well, you see how he carries himself. That guy, he's a grinder.
They're all pros. They're all grinders.
A pro grinder.
It's almost as if they've been held down and had to grind.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that army life, man, that'll put some grit on you. Maybe I should start moving my sons around every 2 years.
Yeah.
I think
you start dressing in. You should start dressing in only body armor and fatigues.
But it may be
stolen valor for sure.
Or it's your dad was in the army, so you got his genes and you're just tough off of that. Maybe if I just started doing that, they'd be worse.
You need to
because they're old man.
Well, the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a flat top haircut.
Yeah.
Well, I think I passed my soft ass jeans to them, and that's it.
The first thing you need to do when you walk in your house is shave Tommy's head because his hair's too long. You can't handle a little girl. He's a little girl. He's a little girl. A military dad would say, "You look like a goddamn girl." My dad said it, and he wasn't a military dad.
Yeah.
He just didn't want me looking like a Dutch boy paint can. He said he called me a Dutch boy paint can.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Let's do some voicemail?
Sure.
Some email?
No, we'll do voicemail. You're not going to like this one. This guy's being mean to you.
Welcome to A Corporate Time. What is that, dude? That's your... What is that?
And then he bully laughed. That was real. Like that one. Look, I've taken a lot of messages in my time as a broadcaster. I've taken a lot of messages.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had one. That's the first time I've ever had a listener insult me or you or somebody on the show and then diabolically laugh.
Yeah.
That was a little too far. I think it hurt my feelings a little bit. It wasn't even about me.
You know what that is, sir? You know how, like, a quartet, like, one guy will bring out a tiny kazoo and go...
It's called a pitch pipe.
Okay,
it's called a pitch pipe, and they go...
yeah. They need
Oh, down Mother Riverside, Sally's in the creek.
My welcome to A Corporate Time Yabba Dabba is the tiny kazoo of the show. I have to do that before I start singing. That's it. That's it. Okay. I have to do it in a certain way that kicks my brain into.
Is that how you do it?
Because I do the same. Like,
try and do it.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom. But now I turned it off. I turned it off.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I like that.
Yeah. And it's just some sort of repetitive thing that kicks my brain into work mode or show mode. That's it. I think
mine is, it is another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. And I don't like going, it is. Because you know what it sounds like? It sounds a little news junkie-ish, and I don't want him to think I'm biting his style. Because I've noticed that Sean has he goes, this is the news junkie on Real, and he does that, and I'm like, I don't want to bite his style. And I think subconsciously, because I listen to them, I might be subconsciously biting style. So I apologize. I apologize.
Try something new right
Sean,
now.
I apologize, buddy.
Try something new.
Wasn't trying to bite your style, but
what do you got?
I don't know. There's a lot of pressure.
Give us something
a lot of pressure.
Crazy.
Well, the...
ACT. I'm Dan. How about that?
I like it.
It's hard. Okay, I contend it's probably nearly impossible for us. I mean, we even are struggling trying to change when we come back instead of introducing ourselves every segment.
Don't even get me started on when I changed the Friday Free Show where I was like, hey guys, it's just Tom and Dan. We're just cool dudes. This is the beginning.
The shorter,
yeah. We're just the beginning, the casual beginning where we're just chatting to you.
Casual it.
We're just chatting to you like we're all best friends, and then we'll do the show after the first commercial because we're so cool.
People don't like change. You think you need to change because you're like, what are we doing? Like, I think that like my intro sounds stupid, just like the gentleman. If I try to change it, we'll get more complaints than the complaints we get what it's like.
Like the one for the BDM, we have one. I go, it's the BDM show of the week.
Yeah. You all do have very much the same cadence for separate shows.
It's like a quarterback.
On Friday, I'll go, it is!
T-Day Friday!
Yeah, I'll yell that. Like there's a whole thing of things. And then if you switch it up, you end up getting into trouble. Big fat titties.
Look at the time!
I said TD.
Yeah. So... I think that no matter if you do something repetitive over and over, you just fall into that same cadence.
Oh, God. Christine's right. Even Black God has the same style.
Dude, look at, I probably consume too much sports stuff because that's all the references I have now. But a quarterback's cadence, like, it takes a while for the offensive line to learn the quarterback's cadence and when he's actually...
I don't like it when they go novelty. I don't know if it was Jameis Winston or who it was that was yelling, Bruce Springsteen, Journey. And they were doing that in a real game. Yeah. This was on Sunday. There was somebody, man. I forget what game I was watching, but he goes, Bruce Springsteen, Journey, 5, 2, 1. And then I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
They're trolling sports media.
It's stupid.
And like sports social media because I think, who started doing this a lot was Peyton Manning was the first time.
Omaha?
Oh, when people started making fun of his Omaha. And then people started paying attention to what they're saying. And then when they started paying attention, the quarterbacks were like, well, because they changed the plays and the name of the plays so that the opposing team doesn't know. So they'll...
Ghost is right. It was the Falcons getting decimated. Of course it was the Falcons I was watching.
So they'll have to come up with new names for different plays, right? So if it's like a wheel route play, they'll, maybe say something about... Baby Driver or like NASCAR or like something to do with wheels. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then so they could literally pick whatever they want.
Wheels of the bus go round and round.
And I bet you the quarterbacks, if the coach is like, you could make up
Meals on Wheels.
They start doing pop culture stuff.
Food for old people.
Start referencing Journey and other stuff.
I wonder what Bruce, because it was Bruce. I wrote it down. It was Bruce Springsteen Journey. I wonder what that play was.
One means something,
one
and
means
the Journey.
It's New Jersey, and then Journey.
Well, or like
Journey to New Jersey.
Yeah. It's
long ball,
dude. All that stuff is so complicated that. And some teams are way worse than others, like New England or whatever, where their playbook is so complicated that some players can't even learn it in a year or whatever. Like they just can't start the team because it's too complicated for them to learn it.
I'm in it 100% with Madden. I am now, you can laugh, I am now taking virtual classes to fully understand, because I want to know, like, when opposing teams have certain, when they're lining up their personnel, I want to know how to match that. Because if I don't match it, then what am I doing, right? And it's very difficult to do that. But there are kids. Did anybody see the clip? I think it was circulating Twitter. The kid that just broke down the Jets. He's breaking down old Zach from the Jets.
Yeah.
Why is my brain not
Zach
working?
Wilson.
Thank you, Zach Wilson. He was breaking down the Jets, and then did you hear that kid? And he's breaking down everything.
He's just a Madden player,
and it's hilarious. But no, this kid's he's just in it, and he's got a ton of football knowledge.
Well, again, it's basically a flight simulator, and the fact that the Madden is using actual plays and like playbooks and like it may not be obviously current, but it's like so you can by playing enough understand. Like
it's too complicated.
Certain
so
schemes
hard.
And then like defense and like.
And sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I'm like, can I just play? And then I'll just not care. I'm just like, I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to play.
You'll learn the X's and O's of football, which most people don't know, by the way. Like most people would have no idea what a defense is doing, and I don't know either. But I find it impressive when someone actually can tell you, like if the defense is like what their plan is or what it looks like their plan is or like, actually know about it. Like one thing about like, they're playing zone and man to man. Well, that's easy. But I'm like, you're going to start getting real intricate into it. And imagine that's probably only 1/10 20th of what the complication of the what they.
Sorry, you
designed?
saying X's and O's and most people don't know what that is. Reminded me, I think it was your wife that posted that nowadays, like, kids and teens growing up don't know what XOXO means when you sign on a letter.
Yeah, it means Gossip Girl. Everybody knows that.
Because they just use like emojis or whatever, and I'm like, I didn't even I would have never thought about that, but I guess that makes sense. They have no idea what that is,
and they don't know which is the kiss and which is the hug.
Yeah.
I don't think I do either. The X looks like a beehole, and the O looks sort of like a beehole too.
I don't know either, but just off of like guessing and logic,
The hug is the
the
O.
hug is a O, X is a kiss, right? Is that correct?
It's gotta
I
be.
don't know.
The kiss is your lips touching, and
Yeah,
the hug is the O. It's round.
Or the kiss is
Your
you know,
mouth,
the
and the X is the body parts intertwined.
Yeah, it's two.
The X is the kiss while the O is the hug.
You got it right the first time.
yeah.
What's the what's the pump?
What's the most used emoji? Is it the cry laugh emoji?
Thumb up.
Thumb up?
I
Yeah,
bet it
thumb up.
is.
Thumb up's got to be or heart. Or
yellow
heart.
thumb up.
I don't use a yellow thumb up because I'm not Asian.
I'm glad you said it.
Anyone?
You made Norm laugh because he's horribly racist.
Yeah, he is. He's
The
terrible.
most used emoji in 2021 is the laugh cry face.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
God,
You're
so-
good at this, dude.
So good.
You are very smart.
So horny.
Wow, why would you say that? That's I'm taking some heat off of me. I appreciate that.
Thank God.
I got another voicemail.
okay.
Let's try this one.
Hey, Tom, I was just listening to the BDM show. You were saying you needed to have some adult friends to hang out with. I just got my one wheel. I'm here in Mount Dora.
Oh, nerds.
You know, come on down. We'll go to Maggie's Attic, get a beer.
Hey, why don't you go to Maggie's
Roll on
Attic?
down to Maggie's.
Yeah, why don't you guys, future boys, roll on down to Maggie's Attic and get a beer? Give that a yellow thumbs up, Tom.
I don't mean to be disrespectful to our
No.
listeners, but there's nothing that sounds worse than that to me.
Yeah, but you were just saying 2 days ago, you were just pontificating about how you thought you needed to spend more time out and about. You were like, I don't get out and do anything. I don't go out and I don't go to any shows. I don't get I got to do. Try to do something that maybe will give you a little grit. Go make a new friend.
Fun time with boys.
Go to a different place. Maybe distance yourself from your sons. Not everything you do has to be an entire family together. Maybe give yourself some alone time.
What's this gentleman's name?
I don't know if he even left his name.
So I'm going to call him Bob.
Okay.
So I meet Bob in Mount Dora.
Well, you meet in a parking lot, and you're both holding your one wheel.
Yeah.
And you both have
And I'm
on...
like, hey, how you doing? And we do some small
You
talk.
have tipsy. You both have on, like, try-hard, tipsy elf glasses on. So you... Because you think you're cool dudes.
So then we put our one wheels down, and then...
then you immediately have to touch penises.
Butler would be so jealous if you went in one wheel with someone else.
It'd be like cheating on him.
Yeah.
Because he's
well,
the one that got you.
one-wheeling a Butler.
He's the one that got you into one-wheeling, dude. You don't remember
That's
that he
true.
is your dealer.
I feel like that's the only reason he's working here,
Yeah,
right?
he's your dealer.
Yes, that is. But
Thank you. Finally an admission.
So then me and Bob, we one wheel to the bar he's talking about. We sit down at the table, we order some drinks, and then we talk about what? Like,
you don't have to talk.
Like,
dude.
I tell him some
Football,
stories.
gambling,
I tell you
everything you talk about to us that we don't listen to here.
yeah, but I like. What's the chances he's that interested? And even if
but
he is, I'm
we've
like, I
heard
know
the
more than
stories.
you.
We've
Huh?
heard the stories. He
Right.
hasn't. So at his very least, he's a fresh victim.
Or maybe he has stories to tell you. It's not
Yeah.
all
I
about
don't
you,
want-
Tom.
Yeah, what
God,
if
I
he's
don't
like,
want to hear his boring stories.
What if he's like, hey, so I was on this website, and you're like, what? And then you're like,
No.
now I know how they feel.
I don't even want to hear my stories.
Yeah. And then you're trying to get away on your one wheel, but you've got the old model and it doesn't go fast enough, and he's right up on you, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to one wheel away and hide.
I just can't imagine it being an experience that I get back in my truck. I'm like, I'm glad I did that instead of hanging out with my sons.
Yeah, but every time you say you hang out with your sons, that you say
They don't want to hang out with you.
Well, I know.
Give them a break, my God.
That's what I'm
one-sided.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just like, what?
The codependency here is strong.
is.
What? This sounds horrible, but I'm just gonna say it. It's like, what is Bob bringing to the table that is it his
one wheel?
His store is one. I got a one wheel.
You guys can ride
but
together.
he's gonna let you ride the XL.
Oh.
Well, there's that. It's a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
like I mean, that's not enough for me to drive.
What do you
to the
talk
door.
about with your friends from Miami? Because
Yeah.
that seems to be the only friends you have.
All the same things. Oh my God!
Yeah,
have you
yeah.
heard it? I've been prepping.
It's horrible.
I have not been around.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
All we have because
You just talk about the good old days.
Yeah. It's all old story. Our wives hate it, and they can't.
It's the same old stories over and over and over again. Just this time with children running around in the background screaming.
Because
nightmare.
Because nothing has really gone on in our lives since high school. You know,
That's
like
not
exciting.
true.
Well,
At least you didn't do what I did and just abandon all of your friends.
Like,
because
You guys gotta get some friends.
I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends.
Yeah, Daniel's got it right. Daniel just hangs out his house by
I
himself.
don't know that either one of you have it right.
When I
You're
leave
both
here,
driving me insane.
When I leave here, I go right into the closet like a vampire, and I don't move. I walk right into my wife's blouses, and I just stand in there until Maisie finds me.
I mean, all we do for 5 hours a day is just talk. And I think that's screwing me up with my sons too, because they're like, we can't make Daddy laugh. I've laughed all day, so like.
You gotta save a few. You gotta save two laughs. You gotta save 2 laughs for your boys.
Like, I wonder if they're gonna watch the show one day. Probably not. But
Maisie already
when I'm
watches with
dead,
Andrea, and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, she's too young.
So my heart
What are you doing?
eventually explodes from Adderall and testosterone.
It will happen.
Yeah. And then they're
Mine's
like,
gonna explode from caffeine because I have had 50 Mountain Dews today.
and then they're sitting on there like, maybe you should look on YouTube because you upload every show. So how many hours of YouTube shows?
Too many hours.
I mean,
there's hundreds of shows now.
Yeah.
We are Orlando's strongest stream. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Just search Tom and Dan Live on your YouTube. Like and subscribe, please. We need that.
Maybe an entire year of content back, like straight. You know what I'm saying? Like an insane amount. And they start watching it, and then they're like, "Look how he's laughing all the time. Like he's telling stories."
Daniel is his real son.
No, and then they're gonna be. I wonder if they'll have a dip. They'll be like, "Whoa! I wonder why he wasn't like that at home."
Man,
He hated us.
Man, you are just as psycho.
Daddy doesn't love us.
He's just as psycho as I am.
I know.
The things that float through his mind sometimes
I
are like.
work with 3 crazy people.
Hold on, I'd like to petition to the court that I am the least crazy and can be released on my own recognizance.
Hold on, Daniel's the most crazy. Everybody knows Daniel's the most crazy.
No, I'm surface crazy. You're deep-rooted, real crazy. I'm just surface crazy, man. I'm sequins. Yours is deep-rooted. Yours is enmeshed. You're the three-eyed crow.
And then
you're real crazy.
I try to tell them stories,
because at least I try to fix my trauma.
I try to tell them about Gravedigger and all that, and they're like, and Mac's like, "Boy, bullies me." I'm like, "Well, fine, silence it is."
So basically, Max and Tommy are asking what you're bringing to the table. Because they'd rather play video games than listen to your boring old stories, old man.
I know.
You got to come up with something new.
I know what he has to do.
Maybe go out with Bob,
No.
have an adventure, come back, tell the boys about your adventure.
He's only got one pathway to get himself out of this. If he wants to get those boys on his side, he's got to do the one thing that dads can do to any son, and it changes their life forever. You got to buy them both BB guns.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And you got to kill an animal.
All right.
It's the way.
A little bit of trauma goes
This is
a
the
long
way.
way.
No, you got to do a traumatic bonding experience.
Yeah,
double
yeah,
BB
you're
gun
right.
squirrel scenario is
you're right.
needed here, and it'll fix everything.
There
Is
is
the tumor squirrel still around?
You need to bond
No,
over.
that died.
You need to bond over a traumatic squirrel shooting.
There's a
Maybe there's an accident with the birds that are coming into town.
Can't be doing that, so that's too far. But I like how you're thinking. That makes you crazy too,
Look,
by the way.
Go big or go home.
there is a tiny red cardinal.
No, don't shoot the cardinals.
You can't do the cardinal,
Well, you can't do
man.
cardinals because my mom thought my dad was reincarnated
Yeah,
as a
everybody
cardinal.
does.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Crystal's office is like, I think that's
Yeah.
my grandpa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
is that a thing?
And
Yeah.
then the boys, I'll have them kill it.
Oh, no, your grandfather?
Well, not really. It's just a bird.
I like this.
You know, it could be. I mean, how long's
just
a
wait till he
bird's?
gets sick.
No, how long's a bird's lifespan anyway?
I don't know, 2.5 years.
A cardinal?
Yeah, like
he don't remember nothing.
I know nothing about birds.
Me neither.
We should do a bird segment.
Yeah,
Oh my
write that down. I heard Cox Media is doing one called Feathered Fridays.
On average, cardinals. Yeah, I heard that too.
No, the guy
Yeah, it's true.
in our guillotine group told me.
Yeah.
No,
Trini.
it's accurate.
Our
Yeah.
Trini BDM. He told
3
me.
years for cardinals, by the way. 3 years.
Daniel guessed it, Dan, because you said 2.5 years, didn't you? Oh my God.
Well,
my
my mom wouldn't shut up before she died about how my dad was every cardinal in the world. And you know how crazy that is when you're just trying to eat, gag down an Outback Steakhouse steak outside when you see a cardinal and your mom's over there trying to take pictures with her Android phone that she doesn't know how to use because she thinks it's your dead dad. Anyone? Butler? All right.
So, do most birds only live around 3 years?
Well, not like domesticated birds like you got.
Yeah. Well, parrots
y'all will live like 70, 80 years.
Yeah, parrots will live like, but I'm talking like just a regular brown Publix bird.
Like a dove?
Just a
like
brown
a titmouse.
Like a brown Publix bird.
Just a regular brown titmouse.
Yeah. Like
look up titmouse.
Everything seems to be about 1.5 to 3 years.
I don't know. Look up the titmouse. I'm telling you. I think this is an extraordinary bird.
What about an ostrich? They gotta live longer, right?
Yeah, they're bigger. No, actually, it doesn't work.
Titmouse 2.1 years
Oh,
average.
man, those are
What about
little.
ostrich?
But
I like how I'm just Googling different birds' lifespans.
No, hold on. This is what the show's become.
Ostrich, 50 years.
50 years? Oh, my God, that bird looks like Jim Colbert. 50 years old. Look at that.
I can't believe an ostrich lives 50 years. You'd think they die way before that. Like a Great Dane.
Yeah, like a Great Dane.
Yeah.
It makes me sad when I see Great Danes, and I always walk up to the owner, and I say, I go, how old is your dog? And they'll be like, she's 7. I'm like, ooh. And then I walk away.
Oh.
I don't do that.
I add hips.
Hips don't lie. Shakira.
And then run. They get on your one wheel.
That's what goes first.
Okay, I got puppy fever, buddy. And I am in the market.
You have 2 puppies and they pee-pee everywhere.
Those are pee-pee dogs. They're not puppies. They're pee-pee dogs. And now my wife, because of this show, calls them pee-pee dogs. They pee-peed our bedroom on the new at-home floor store carpet so bad that we had to... yesterday, we had to douse it with vinegar and baking soda and froth the whole room. Just had to neutralize the smells. I'm this close to burning my house down because of these pee-pee dogs.
Yeah, and you're going to get another pee-pee dog?
Oh, well, I'm going to get a puppy.
They pee-pee everywhere.
They're
gonna train them first.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
and they're going to see the old pee-pee dogs pee in there, so they're just going to pee everywhere, too.
I'm going to train it to not pee. But I'm going to get I think I want to get a big dog or a medium. I want an American dog. Like I want a golden retriever.
That's a big dog.
Yeah, I want a big dog.
You got to take golden retrievers for walks all the time.
Yeah, well, get Maisie to do it.
Well, tiny pee-pee dogs, like, they will pee-pee everywhere, but they seemingly can just run around the house like Ozzy Osbourne.
I do love a good pee-pee dog, though, man. They're so snuggly. I love them.
Well, you are eventually going to be
a pee-pee dog?
No, Ozzy Osbourne wandering around your house. Yelling Andrew. Well, pee-pee dogs. And there's pee-pee pads.
I might already do that.
There's pee-pee pads everywhere, right?
Well, most of it's tile, so I'm not going to put the pad down. I'll just let them go because it's easier to clean it up.
And then, there's
what's the
water
biggest
bowls.
pee-pee dog I can get?
I think
Shih Tzu. That's the largest pee-pee dog, I feel like. The Shih Tzu.
Or a collie.
Mini collie.
Yeah.
Mini collies look
Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, they're mean.
They are mean, but they're like in between small and medium.
My mom and dad
They're
used to breed Cocker Spaniels, and they will bite you good.
So we have a tiny issue with Tommy being afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
Right? And so...
Let him come see my pee-pee dogs, and they bite. Maggie will bite him good. You wanna... No, but it's a baby bite. No, it won't, because you got to teach him that it doesn't hurt. She bloodied Maisie's face twice. But May has recovered.
Yeah, she's tough.
Now that she has the scar on her face, she looks like a secret agent.
So I don't know exactly... Besides from getting a dog, which I don't want to do, making Tommy
lock him in a room with dogs.
Don't.
I think that makes it worse. Because
don't lock him in.
So
what if you take him to like a park that has a dog park?
Well, okay. So Fernando's brother came and hung out with us because he lives out in Colorado. And he brought his Labradoodle, which was a cute-ass dog.
Great dogs, dude.
It was...
I really enjoy a Labradoodle. That's a damn fine dog.
It looks like a teddy bear that's alive.
Yeah, the fuzzier Labrador.
Brown, long hair. Yeah. It looks like a stuffed animal.
Now, how did you get home without Crystal freaking the F out? Because doesn't she have the fever for dogs like I do?
I figured it out.
It's been freaking me out, dude. I really want a puppy. So bad. So bad.
I figured.
I want one for Christmas.
I figured out the puppy deal, and I hacked it.
Okay.
And my new thing is like I've been the Labradoodle. I was like, I love this dog. We should get this one.
Look at that.
And then she's like, oh, she's like, oh, look at Daddy's.
You called it bluff.
And then I'm like, I love Labradoodles. And
this is what I want now.
Any purebred dog, because she has a mental block. She can't. She has to go to the pound to save
and get
a dog
wart dog
and get a wart dog, and because she can't. And she's, even though she'd want a Labradoodle, she already said
she thinks of the other dogs.
Well, she's like, if people see me getting a purebred dog now from all the S I talked.
Oh God, you guys care about what people think too much.
Well, she'll get a S from her friends and family.
Right.
Like,
especially her mom. I could see that.
She's not talking about the listeners.
And her sister would give her some. Her sister would get on her.
Yeah.
Alex would not be happy about that.
Oh, yeah, because her mom's, so.
Correct.
If she went purebred,
I
she
could
would
see
get
that.
a bunch of flack. And then also, her,
I could see that.
the opposite side, her, the maybe more, gun-toting, Republican side of the family would make fun of her too because she's been so much about animals.
Yeah,
like, see, you're just like us.
Wow, you did find this is the impossible task.
Yeah,
dude, you're a genius. You're impossible. You are literally, or you're a diabolical villain. You're a villain. He's a villain, everybody. This is why it works.
Bernie said
you are
criminal mind.
Bernie said you have a criminal mind. You do, dude. That is it not? I just figured it out. You just gave your wife the Labradoodle impossible task.
Yes, yeah. She can't get. I said, I'll get a dog. It's got to be this one or something like it. That's purebred. You have
Chef's
to.
kiss.
Then you can only get because you can't get a Labradoodle from the pound.
The whole chat room is like, you did it. Well done. That's like the greatest thing you've ever pulled off.
Yeah, until she shows up with the Labradoodle because she'll convince herself.
No way. No. She'll second guess that so many times, man. There's no way she'd do that to you. I do not think. Well, I don't know.
She'd get too much flack from her family from getting a dog from a breeder or whatever.
What if she lies? And says
she's not a liar. She's not a liar.
Oh, I'll bring it up every Thanksgiving. Anytime we're around there, I'm like,
God.
where?
Now you're just a bad person and like a terrible husband.
Also, she knows that her
Y'all need to get some therapy together.
I like it though.
It's
really twisty.
You guys really just F with each other all the time.
It's very
Do you guys
toxic.
love each other or not? I don't even
toxic.
know anymore.
I for a split second I thought you were Jamie
It's
Spears.
like mind games back and forth all the time.
It's Britney's dad.
You love what you hate.
My God, he's been crushing up pills and putting them in my sandwiches every day.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's a maniac.
But she knows there's no way you can't tell someone like, I got this Labradoodle on the in the pound.
Even I would probably
It does
say,
happen every once in a while.
If Crystal texted me and said, "Here's our new dog Coco," I would. I'm just trying to answer his question honestly. I think I would probably go, "Wow, I expected you to go to the pound." Even
and then she's like, I did. I got this at the Orange County Pound.
And I'd be like, no, you did not.
Yeah, but she could also lie and say that it's not a Labradoodle. She could say it's like a mutt of a bunch of different stuff.
Well, when it's standing there
perfectly. People aren't going to know.
It's standing there perfectly.
If they get a dog, it's not standing perfectly. They're not going to train that thing.
Caesar,
to be
though,
like,
it's got Caesar came
weird inbred ears. Look at it, it's perfect.
When you saw Caesar, everybody was like, "Wow, my God, where'd you get that?" You know, like because he is like
it's the Alpo.
Yeah, he is
model.
He's a cartoon. Like when you look at him, you're like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah.
Maggie, on the other hand, my mom's dog, is disgusting. She
It's
has
a pound dog,
her
right?
teeth. Yeah, it's a pound dog. Her teeth go in all different directions. Her mouth doesn't close right because I'm virtually certain somebody stomped her head. Her ears are different sizes, right?
Yeah.
Her back is out of alignment. Her legs don't work right. She pees and poops everywhere.
Lumpy.
All covered in the gross lumps, not the hard lumps, the ones that are gelatin and move all over her body like they're self-aware and they just move around her body wherever they want to be. It's disgusting.
Look at a black tip.
Oh, and even her mouth, like she opens her mouth, all of her teeth, the center of them, all of her teeth are cavities, black cavities.
Oh.
And when she breathes on you, it's like the guy that used to work at Five Guys over here with his black teeth. Remember the guy I stormed out because I'm like, you're not making my burger, sir, because you have black teeth.
I'll give it to Daniel. He never went back. Daniel will hold a grudge forever. That guy doesn't work there. That may not
never go back.
That restaurant is owned by a different person. You'll never go back.
I'll never go back. I walked
like
in.
that.
It was supposed to
That
close
was
at
10
5.
years ago.
It was supposed to close at 5. I walked in at 4:45. The guy with the black teeth said, "Oh, God." He said that. And I go, "What? We're just trying to get hamburgers." He's like, "Okay, what do you want?" I was like, "Nope." And I marched. And he's like, "Oh, wait." Everyone's like, wait. I'm like, "Nope." Not making my hamburger black teeth. I'm out of here.
And then never went back. 10-year decade. I mean, you're walking distance from that Five Guys. I'm sure in the past 10 years, you're like, I want some Five
And
Guys.
every time I walk by there, I look in there to see if he might have come back.
You are the crazy one.
You're so crazy.
No, I'm less crazy than that.
I'm less crazier than him.
All right, bye-bye.